I'm also not glad for the findings. That part kind of sucks.
I mean, they sprayed the hell out of it with bleach, so this is the second go around. They're hoping that took care of it. So.
Yeah. It's an old SEC championship game. Man, I've been wanting to get into wrestling recently. I don't know why. Just been wanting to get into wrestling for some reason. It seems like mindless entertainment. Brand's like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
I missed the memo. You guys are in black, and I'm festive.
I'm still in workout gear, so.
Honestly, I'm just in the closest sweater that was next to me. We went to a Christmas concert last night, and this just happened to be close. That orchestra was awesome. Cesar, did you keep up with orchestra the whole way through? Or did you drop it after middle school?
I think I fell off at middle school.
Fell off. Did you do orchestra, Brant?
No, I did not.
I should have done an instrument.
He was one of the better ones.
They sounded great. Do you wish you had stuck with it?
Man, I don't have lingering regrets where it keeps me up at night.
Right, it's not one of those things.
I wish that I could play piano more than anything else, but
yeah, same. And I took years of piano.
Cesar wants to be a pianist.
Oh, a pianist. Live, it's working. Man, I was bouncing between Twitch feeds for the Game Awards last night, and it's like every time I changed a channel, I had 2 minutes of ads. Like, this sucks.
Yeah. The ads on there are ridiculous now.
And I wasn't really bouncing between feeds. It was just I was moving locations. Like, I started on my phone, and then I was watching the living room, and then I moved to the bedroom, and it's like I was watching Gersman's feed first, and then I searched for the official Game Awards when it came up. But then it froze, so I like minimized it and went to another channel. And went back to that and then got another like 45-second ad. And I'm like, what the fuck? Come on. I was just here. Like, did I not put in my time when I was here?
They want you to do that, a whole YouTube monthly subscription shit that they got going on now. So.
Yeah. So is it possible to do just like a Twitch subscription? Or do you have to do it per channel?
Right now.
Oh, okay.
It's a trip. They got one now for the whole Twitch thing.
That makes sense. So if we would probably have to be like partners or above to get any sort of kickback from that level, right?
Don't say anything because we might summon people who complain about us not doing that.
There's a possibility. There's only 2 people.
If they aren't already here.
There's only 2 people in here that I see.
Give it time.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah, maybe I'll look at that this weekend. I actually don't think we have anything scheduled this weekend, so
I don't believe you.
Something will come up.
I'm sure it will.
Something always comes up. Cesar, you have your shelves are now available to be delivered to you whenever you can receive them.
He would like to Amazon Prime them. 1 day shipping.
Yeah, give me some time and I'll try to get it out of your hair.
I should have let you know before. I've just been moving them around, but they're loose. They're not in my way, but they are definitely available to you.
Yeah, no. At some point, we greatly appreciate it if you pick those up.
See, I'll bring them to you. I think I have easier means of relocating. Transportation.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'll probably ask and see if I can get Renee involved since he has the world's biggest truck. So
he does. I like that truck a lot too. I did not see this Call of Duty story. All right, Call of Duty, Epic Games.
I thought you were done with Call of Duty.
I'm done with the current one.
So you're saying there's hope for next year?
Or an update. Somebody tells me, like, man, it moves better again. It's fire. I'll go back to it. Speaking of Renee, we don't have Renee on here unless he's our YouTube participant.
He is currently in North Georgia doing some work. So I don't know if he's going to be on or not because they may be working late. They're doing some some renovation in some house.
Okay.
So I think he has to build like furniture and it's like a bunch of random stuff. So I think he won't be back till tomorrow night from what he told me.
Renee's well rounded. He can do it.
Him and his brother are out there right now.
Brother. Yeah, Restream says we have 2 connections. Now it says offline. Is that right?
Weird.
Probably not. Show's online for me. It hasn't disconnected yet.
This is weird. Because it says 5 on Twitch. If I'm looking on the Twitch channel, it says 5. Who knows?
Oof.
Brand, is this episode number right?
I don't know. Roll the dice.
iPad OS 18.2 will start installing in 8 seconds. I'm like, no, not now, not now. What are you doing?
God, is update already out? 8.2, 18.2.
18.2's out. Yep. Yeah, it came out yesterday or 2 days ago.
I thought the release candidate came out. That's what I was like, oh, I got time not to worry about it.
Renee's disclosing his location. He is not. He's in the West Georgias. Yeah,
I don't know where it was. I can't keep track.
You tried to throw up screens, and Renee's like, "Here's exactly where I am. Come visit me. Come to the specific address."
I don't think Renee has anything to worry about. He's always strapped, so you can definitely go try to go visit him.
Do not provoke Renee. Do not show up unannounced for the Renees.
He will protect himself.
Ask questions later.
Only prompted, knowing him.
The questions or the defense?
Bit of both.
Yeah, both.
Little column A, little column B.
Classic Call of Duty. I'm actually excited about this story.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe this story?
I just don't believe you being excited for anything Call of Duty based.
I am. It will have been that type of franchise where they eventually shit the bed, and I have to regress back to the previous ones to enjoy anything. What else has done that? Turok certainly looks interesting. We're gonna get to that, I guess. The game looks free to play, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know what that. I don't think I know what that model is.
I mean, I don't.
We'll discuss.
I'm thinking it's going to be a regular. I don't think it's going to be a free to play kind of thing.
Brand's confident. Full blown release. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 329 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and mold remediation podcast. Come early for all the stuff that's usually not video game related, is occasionally video game related. Brant, what is the largest thing you've had to eradicate from your home? Any home, anywhere?
Any home, anywhere.
Yes. What undertaking did you have to do to get rid of something from your dwelling?
I mean, I guess probably the largest thing would maybe have been like when an outside cat got indoors, and I mean that's usually not too hard.
Yeah, I mean not like a beast. You know, it doesn't have to be like an infestation. It doesn't have to be like a beast that comes in there.
No, we're talking like an undomesticated but very friendly feline, and you just kind of got to find out where they are and take them and put them back outside.
Yeah. I think a lot of people go through this as an elementary school lad. There were 5 kids, all of us under one roof at one point, and there was a lice infestation at some point.
Oh, gosh.
It's like all your stuffed animals are going in these plastic bags with like inserts to fog them out or something like that, and like daily shampooing and like picking through your hair and stuff, and that was no bueno. I don't recommend that. Like I said, there were 5 of us, so it was everybody had to undergo the same procedures and everything. Yep. And then you got to stay out of school, and they come back and they do hat checks. And y'all remember doing that in school? Like they'd scope everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Cesar, any home remediation issues you've had to deal with?
No, it's always my favorite one's always ants.
Yeah,
ants.
Actually, we're currently battling ants. Friend of the show, Buish, recommended like this gel You put like this gel strip near the entrance, some of the entrances. But
I got an ant trap that I put in around different places in the house. That's because the ants are still. It's a never-ending battle. Let's put it that way.
They don't seem to have taken to these specific baits, and we can't like. There's no telltale. Usually with ants, you see them coming in a door and they're going to a trash can. Like there's like a point A and a point B, right? There's nothing with these cats. They're just roaming. They're roaming. They're like in the tub randomly. They're in a sink. They're going along the edge of the like kitchen countertop. Like, where are you guys headed? You don't even have anything. So we're trying that like little gel strip thing to see what they do.
Yeah.
Because I always do the home defense thing outside and like areas inside. And I don't know we had a bunch of heavy rain, a week ago, 5 or 6 days ago. That might have driven them like out
Jason.
in a way, but I don't know. Jason recently got the director's cut of that title. I couldn't sleep the other night and went on this fever dream binge. There are a list, we're all on the PS3 trip in some manner. There is a list of titles where the themes and like avatars and like bonus stuff is on the disc. So you can pop in, if you get the Heavy Rain director's cut, you can pop in the disc and you can download like a special theme off the disc and you can be rid of it after that. You're good. The Eco collection, Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
There's another game with the themes on there. There was some Uplay stuff back in the day. Like there was like Uplay points that you could get for registering games. And I forget Uplay even being around for that long.
I got a lot of shit from Assassin's Creed. It'll give you like free outfits and shit like that sometimes.
They were saying Final Fantasy 13 had a bunch of themes and wallpapers tied to trophies. So you would unlock a trophy or something like that, and that would give you a theme. Man, this was like 2:00 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I'm scrolling through Reddit trying to compile this list. I took some screenshots. I'll send them to y'all.
I think it's one of the ones that I remember getting the themes off there based off the trophies, and I think it glitched the trophies for some people. You had to be careful with it too. So
there was 360 stuff like that, where like it was you did certain things in the game and you got avatar awards.
That's right.
Because I remember
they would give you
doing
shirts
stuff in
like
Left
chainsaws for gears and
Left
stuff.
4 Dead, and you get the health pack or whatever, and
didn't they just kill your avatar rewards or your avatars?
Those are gone in the Microsoft ecosystem.
I think I just remember seeing something on Twitter where they're sunsetting those.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was some avatar app. I can't remember what it was because nobody was using it.
One of the builder things, like they just got tired of supporting the character creator
think so,
type
deal. Yeah, it was like a newer thing. So
what's the point of that? It's like shutting down the Wii Me Maker. Like, I guess because it's online connected. Rare needed the 3 people keeping that thing still up to like switch to Sea of Thieves.
Always.
I need you making Sea of Thieves content.
We're on season 35. Let's keep it rolling.
Keep rowing the boat.
Yeah, it's almost like
sea shanties.
Add more sea shanties. We watched a clip of Warframe during the Game Awards last night, and we were all messaging back and forth. Like I downloaded that. It was like one of my first PS4 games I downloaded because it was free to play. I was like, oh wow, they're giving us free games that we can try. And it looks nothing like that game that I downloaded back in the day. Almost like the Ark Survival thing, which I thought was like dinosaurs and like crafting things, but it's like space lasers and home tower defense stuff.
But then that creator, one of the creators on the Rebecca, said the same thing. It's like we don't even know what
this game is anymore.
This game is anymore. That she made that comment too. Like whatever it is now.
Yeah, she's like, if this game doesn't look familiar to you, we don't even know anymore.
I didn't recognize it. I was like, is that the same Warframe? Is that the same game we were playing?
Now it's in 1999. I wonder if they're playing the Prince song. Who knows?
Did they get the license to play the Prince song?
I mean, maybe. Somebody got a license to play Pet Shop Boys, so
that was awesome, and we will talk about that. I can't fucking wait for that. If it is in any way, and I'm sure it will be PS5 Pro enhanced, or there's some sort of bundle or anything, that may be my end for the PS5 Pro. If it truly takes advantage of it.
I mean, we can all agree the PS5 Pro right now is what beta. There was you can't really delay something that hasn't been announced. But remember, they were talking about that secretly going into next year because nothing was going to utilize it this year. I mean, that kind of came true.
There's a bunch
whatever did utilize it.
There's a bunch of games that support it, right?
Yep.
But it also breaks a ton of shit, like that Avatar.
Yeah,
that Avatar game looks like dog shit on the Pro.
So, I mean, I think it needed to come out either way because they got to work out all these kinks before the major shit comes out, right? You don't want your. I mean, it's bad to have broken shit, but
Right. Your big fall releases like Astrobot and stuff are going to be just fine. Like, just make sure that it's not hosed on that.
I think what was it? Anything that was like less than 1080p resolution, right, was the way to go. I think it didn't break with the PSSR. I think it was anything above it. It was one or the other. It could have been vice versa, but it's one. If I think it was a lower resolution, it does a good job of upscaling, and one if it's a higher one, it does not. So.
Oh, that was the scene. I think that's the same scenario with those EA Star Wars games, like the Jedi Survivor or whatever the one, the Jedi was it Fallen Order, the one before that. It's back there somewhere. Yep. I just saw it in the camera. It's above me. That's why. I didn't see it.
But I don't know. That's neither here or there. But I'm like you, Richard. I think you got 2 Sony first parties that may be potentially coming out next year that might properly utilize that hardware. That might make it enticing for a lot of people.
A bundle. If I'm already gonna spend $70 because Sony doesn't quite have a Game Pass type thing yet, like.
I mean, I think you'd be better off if they can fucking bundle a hard disk to it, like
a disk drive. So, you're right.
That'd be the bundle to kill for, because I think now the only disk drive bundles are what GameStop refurbish bundles that they put on there. That's refurbished because they installed the new disk drive on there for you. So,
is there an up cost on that? I saw that announcement on Threads.
I
didn't price them. I didn't look at it long enough to price it.
I think it's that cost because the disk drives are now able to come in stock. It's been like almost a month. They've been sold out everywhere. So like they are now starting to flow back in. Yeah. So
they found a way to break off the disk drive and sell it to us separately. Consumerism at its
I'm okay
finest.
with it. It's a replaceable drive, man. It's always one of my fears.
Consumerism at its finest. You don't have to purchase a new one. You do have to have internet connection to install it and have it tied to the PlayStation.
Yep.
It's a serial number you have to register to your console. So
tonight's news, since we've been meandering through bits and pieces of it, we do have news tonight. Classic COD on PC. I guess that's Call of Duty. Could be James Pond. Wasn't one of those James Pond subtitles a COD something?
Yeah, like a fish cod. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a fish
Operation COD, I think, or something like that. Yeah. And it's like
codename. Is it codename COD?
Something like that. Yeah.
Y'all want some codename COD?
Codename COD. It might be codename COD.
That rings a bell when I said it. I was like, is it codename COD? Free games, anyone? Question mark. We have your 2024 Game Awards announcements. This is probably going to take up the majority of the show.
It's codename RoboCod.
Codename RoboCod.
Yeah.
RoboCod.
Yeah.
Good old James Pond.
Mean, those games were like very punny. So.
Cesar the James Pond defender. And Bubsy.
Those were the very few games that when we had our Amiga computer in Germany that I had like neighbors just like, oh, here, take this floppy disk, and James Pond was on there because that's how you would get it, right? So
did you play some Gianna Sisters that way?
I did not. It was James Pond and a lot of Commander Keen.
The Bethesda classic.
The ID joint. id joint.
The ID joint. Last but not least, we have your December PlayStation Extra and Premium games. Sky is playing Hell Let Loose. I thought it was Sly on there. Sly plays Steam games?
No, I think last time they mentioned he's anti-PC right now. So
these stances. Oh, anyways, I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
And our resident page master and lore master, Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello. My favorite thing is to open up the App Store and just update all the apps I don't use.
I do that as well, despite having selected auto update apps, and every time I go in there, there's at least 50.
It never fucking
there's
does
at least 50 something.
Yeah, it's like 95. It's like, do you want your PowerPoint updated? It's like, yeah, sure, I use PowerPoint all the fucking time on my private iPad. Update.
But my MacBook does, Brant. I don't know if you've experienced that. Like the MacBook it just stays up to date. Like, what is happening here? Is this stuff just running in the background? Is it a Wi-Fi versus cellular thing, maybe, because of the notebooks?
I don't know.
And I forgot to tell you, Brant, I tried to convert one of my coworkers to your non-legit ways of updating your Mac OS, and he's like, nah, he just ended up buying a Mac Studio. So
sure, that's also a solution.
he had the exact same MacBook I think you had, Brandon. It was like 2011 Intel base.
Yep.
And he said his final straw was that he couldn't go to peacock.com to stream his Sky News because apparently his browser was too old. And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just look on here. And
The browser?
and
Because the
he was thinking of
browser's too
that.
old?
Open core legacy patcher. That's all you gotta
I was trying to tell him, man, but he was
Oh
trying to
my
get like
God.
a Mac.
Easy.
He's
You do that with a Chromebook.
trying to get a lot. Look, I don't know. I just
It's
I
their
just-
it's
right?
the
I just
security
listened.
measures and
I just
Yeah.
listened. I just told him like, hey, I got a friend who was able to bypass the whole thing, and he's like, nah. It's like I went from a Mac Mini to just buying a fucking Mac Studio, and I was like, I don't know how much money he spent, but that's what he did. So
That's a solution.
I just
Slight overkill. I would say that solution is
Very
overkill.
very
that. And I
overkill.
think
to only go on Peacock.
Yeah.
And,
2 Retina displays. Like he's got the
He
world's
made- he
most
made sure-
expensive
he made
Peacock
sure-
setup.
yeah, he made sure I knew that it was only solely for the use of Peacock to watch Sky News because he was tired of watching American news because
Wow.
he's like. He's like, I'd rather watch the British news where they would not gravitate to so much American politics, and that's where he left it at. So
That is going for it.
yeah, I was like, okay, man, I'll go for it, dude. And I was like,
That is a one hell of a config.
I was trying.
For Sky
Brandon, I tried
News? You
telling
can't get Sky News on anything else? Thinking inside the
Okay.
box is Linux. Yeah, I agree with that. Get some good old Ubuntu. Slap that shit
Yeah.
on your PS3 if you got some old PS3 sitting around. Did I give you the guys the update on my PS3 attempts? That broken one that I purchased?
I don't believe so.
no, the backwards compatible one that you purchased,
Backwards compatible 80 gig.
software based.
Yes. That was $70 shipped, even though I reported to an individual that it was $30. It was $30 to purchase and $35 to ship. And my dumbass didn't look up the error code, right? It was on the eBay listing and everything. I'm like, I'll just put a new hard drive in there.
That'll show it.
Yeah, this will specifically show it. That error code 8002 F1 F9, I think.
Was it Jenny's number?
For a good time call. I'm almost to that point. So as soon as you fire up the PS3, it's like the system software update was interrupted, attempting to install now. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
promising. That's good. We'll let this roll through. It goes all the way to 100%, and then it throws up that same error again. I'm like, I'll just try it again. Maybe I got hung up in something because it's at least been powered off, shipped to me. Goes over and over and over. That's fine. So I grab, I just re-imaged my that slim model I have. So I grab that OS and I pop it in there. And I can't get the thing to safe mode. It never wants to get past safe mode. It's locked in this system update cycle. So I look it up, and the first forums that I read, people are like, oh, you're fucked. You're hosed on this one. It's never coming back. You got to do a weird... There's like a thing where as soon as you hold the beeps on the PS3 and you hear the second beep, you like rip the hard drive out, and then you could push it back in afterward. Man, it's crazy. People are in these crazy theories. Here, so
Wildly
here's the thing.
speculative. I've never heard of that in my life.
Here's the thing. When you do a PS3 system update, the reason it takes so long is because it does so many checks in whatever that BIOS is, and I think it's some version of Linux. But that specific error is a failure for either the Bluetooth module or the Wi-Fi module, which I don't need either currently to work. I do need the Bluetooth module to work eventually for the controllers.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I mean, can I hardwire it? Like, I'm looking at all this stuff. If it is on a slim or a super slim PS3 and you get this error, you basically need a new board. It's just totally hosed. For this specific model or any of the backwards compatible ones, there is a daughter board specifically for these two modules. So these can be replaced. And some of the people I was talking to on the threads and reading about, they knew somebody that could do basic soldering and get down to it, and it was like $25-$30. It wasn't much. So it's at least something worth tinkering around with, and it's not completely hosed. But I may actually fuck around with the whole hard drive yanking thing just to see what it does. But I've also read
Like
you have to have the OS that's on there, so I've got to figure out how to identify the current OS on there. Maybe that's
I mean, you make
pulling
it,
the hard drive and reading it. I don't know.
that's like that shit we did when we were trying to get the native Sega Saturn to play burnt games. We had to like tape that shit down.
Yes.
And
when we
yank the disc out at certain times when it spins, and you got to take it out and pop the disc in there when it.
Yep.
I got really good at that. I got really good at that.
Brant used to join us for that at the very tail end. Like I think you flashed my last Kai cartridge that I had.
Yeah,
or
you thought
updated
that shit was
it.
broken.
Yeah. What was that last version of Kai that they came out with? That it had like a specific name, and it was like way more compatible than the other ones.
Kai,
Cobra.
Thinking Inside the Boxes in the show said there's always some wizard somewhere that can do something super specific for cheap. Isn't that the truth? I think all of us with time and patience can do this repair.
I think that's what it was. It was Pseudo Saturn.
Pseudo Saturn Kai was the last version. Yeah,
was the last. Yeah.
But now they got that Sanru thing. I've been pricing those on AliExpress.
How much are those?
And Sadiator.
$40-$50. Same with the Summer Cart on AliExpress. The N64 one that I kind of want to mess around with.
Oh, you haven't jumped the boat on. Haven't jumped it
yet? You're looking at me like, you got a review for us on this thing? How is it?
I'm waiting. Yeah. I'm waiting, man.
Summer Cart.
Somebody's got to fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah. I gambled on something last week, but I'll have to show that to y'all because it was actually successful, unlike my PS3 attempt. Let's start winding through some of this news. I think it's going to be a heavy news episode. Till the next episode. Only one article?
Hold up.
This comes from Jordan Midler at VideoGamesChronicle.com. Multiple classic Call of Duty titles appear on Microsoft PC Store, sparking Game Pass hopes. Several classic Call of Duty titles have been added to Microsoft's PC Store. Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and Call of Duty United Offensive. What is that one? Were all added to Microsoft's PC Store for purchase, having previously been unavailable on the platform. Games industry news reporter Noble posted on X that the games may have been added ahead of their inclusion on Game Pass. This has been the case for previous legacy PC titles that were released long before the current iteration of Microsoft's PC Store. Oh, there's United Offensive. Oh, that's the PC one.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first Call of Duty for PC and then United Offensive, and we got Call of Duty Finest Hour on consoles. $24.99 is not
waiting
bad.
For Big Red 1. Come on, let's go. Big Red 1.
Did you report a Big Red 1? Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare are currently playable on Xbox Series consoles via backwards compatibility. Call of Duty United Offensive was never released on console. The latest entry in Activision's shooter series was released on October 25th. Notably, it was the first Call of Duty to be available on Game Pass on day one. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella commented on the game's early performance during the company's first quarter earnings call earlier this year. The launch of Black Ops 6 was the biggest Call of Duty release ever, setting a record for day one players as well as Game Pass subscriber ads on launch day, he said. I don't remember us going over this, and we talked about it pushing the needle.
I don't think they
Oh, so this is our first.
Publicly acknowledged it outside of... I mean, we would have saw it over the internet, right? So, I mean, that's probably the first... I heard of it.
Thinking Inside the Box says Big Red 1 is the GOAT. Did you enjoy that one, Cesar? Is that why you brought that up? We played the hell out of the first one. I don't think I've ever touched Big Red 1.
I just know it's a common topic on this podcast. So.
People like the Big Red one. What is it? Nadella? I want to see Nadella. Finishes his quote, and unit sales on PlayStation and Steam were also up over 60% year over year. This speaks to our strategy of meeting gamers where they are by enabling them to play more games across the screens they spend their time on. That almost sounds like a This Is an Xbox advertisement. Which there were some good ones on the Game Awards last night. Those were funny. I think they're onto something with that. All right, somebody tell me about this Epic Game Store giveaway. Cesar, thank you for the link.
Well, for everybody that loves free games, I think that's just about everybody. Epic Game Store will be giving away 16 free games over the Christmas period. This comes from a data miner who's fairly reliable, Bill, who claims that the promotion will launch December 12th, which today is the 13th.
Yep.
Over the Epic Game Store holiday sale. They've run similar Christmas promotions over the last couple years. This week, Epic Games Store's titles haven't been revealed as usual. The company instead saying it plans to offer a mystery game. Let's see.
Yeah, but they do this every year, right? They always say mystery game, but there's like the list always fucking leaks, right?
Yeah, so I don't think I've seen the full list yet, but
is there a partial one somewhere? I've been loading up on that Amazon Prime PC game list also.
Hey man, me and Richard got devices to play that thing portably, so
yeah, true. But of course, it's claimed that the games will be, when announced, be available to claim for the week. Also, beginning on December 19th, mystery free game will be given away each day for 15 consecutive days.
Oh yeah.
They will be available to claim for just 24 hours, excluding the last one, which will be free from days. Yep, January 2nd to the 9th.
That'll be like GTA 5 or something that's got an online component for them to rake it in on.
Okay, it could be Red Dead 2. You never know. That's online too. So.
Would take a free copy of Red Dead 2.
I would not say no either.
As Richard said, Amazon is offering Prime subscribers over 25 PC games at no extra charge. In December, they include the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate 2, The Outer Worlds, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Tomb Raider Underworld, and Overcooked 2.
Some good titles in there. They also added the first Warhammer Space Marine game, which is pretty expensive on console right now still. But it's not the anniversary one, I don't think. I think it's the original.
I think it's a single player, right? I think somebody noted it's just a single player, not the full co-op campaign or something. Right. There's some kind of caveat to it, right? I want to say it's just a single player.
And because I downloaded that, I haven't played it yet, but it's it says like the release date is like 2011 or something, so it's definitely that older.
I mean,
that older build.
I still got my copy on PS3 if you ever want to fire it up and do co-op. I'm looking at it right now.
Can we do co-op online?
I don't know if they take down the servers. I'm sadly gonna go look at it. It's gonna say GameSpy servers. I'm like, fuck.
I mean, mine's open, so I would be down to play this as well because I've been wanting to do that before the second one. Russell bought the second one, and it's 3-player co-op, story co-op. So we could round up a squad to try that out too.
It says network 2 to 16 people, man.
Network 2 to 16.
2 to 16.
I guess we just got to pop it in and see if those servers are up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any red flags like the
GameSpy,
what else, or anything like that. I know it's down.
Interesting.
I like the co-op ones where it's just peer to peer, like somebody's hosting it, right? Those are the ones that live forever. Or
we could just stop. We could stop fucking around and just play it on Steam Decks and.
True.
I don't know why we're doing
the anniversary edition. Why else do we have all this shit? We have to do it the hard way. We have to validate all this shit.
Validate our purchases?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes, we do. That's exactly how this works. Else we would just get rid of everything and have a Steam Deck.
Real quick,
I mean, the future is PC when it comes to that shit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Real quick, I think we'll go over the PlayStation Extra and Premium real quick, and then go back to the Game Awards because that's the
longest
meat
one.
And bones.
The longest one.
Brant did put in this our news this week, but I'm sure Brant saw that they updated the RC PS3 emulator to run pretty much on everything now. So
I saw some
they got it running on
that.
a Raspberry Pi.
What?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How does it run on that?
Terrible, but it runs.
But it runs.
It's a new update. I think they got it like almost running on like ARM architecture, everything. Yeah.
Proof of concept, man.
So their code's gotten more universal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they can run it on that, it's like, come on, PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
come on, Sony.
I got to remind me after this. I'll send y'all a video. Somebody had actually took the PS5 main board and hacked it and was able to run PS3 games on there with no issues.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't surprise me.
Ow.
It doesn't surprise me.
They said actually they could run them at 1440p pretty well without any.
Hire these people. What the fuck? We need this. Give me PS3 backward compatibility.
All bullshit on Sony. That's what the guy did it. I think a lot of this stuff is what Microsoft is running into on their 360 compatibility. Is just how to can't just put a disc
license
in it, right?
or resell.
Some way to re-release it, right? That's
Yeah.
what holds it back. So
Come
All right, so real
on.
quick, our PlayStation, starting with the extra, we have Sonic Frontiers, PS4, PS5, Forspoken, PS5, Rabbids Party of Legends, PS4, WRC Generations, PS4, PS5, Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, PS4, PS5, Jurassic World Evolution 2.
That's the park
That is
builder, right?
also- Yep. Coffee Talk 2, Episode 2.
I heard these are amazing games.
Hibiscus
I
and
haven't played
Butterfly.
either
Really
one
good.
of these.
A Space for the Unbound. I'm guessing that's Pogs.
Fogs?
This
Yeah, that's
looks like
good,
a weird.
Fogs?
Richard, do you have which service do you have? Do you have the basic one?
Yeah, I think he just has Essential.
I have Game Pass Ultimate, I have PlayStation Essential, and I have Nintendo Switch
Okay.
Online, Family, Premium, Game Boy.
I would actually pay you money to watch your young ones to play Fogs.
To play Fogs?
It looks like
It's
Cat
a
Dog
two-player
or
co-op.
something on there.
Yeah, and like each person controls a dog, and you have to like cooperatively do objectives to complete the level.
I do. When that PlayStation Black Friday sale was going on, and I'm hoping they do another one during the holidays, I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing extra. Extra, I think, was a pretty good middle ground value-wise. But with having a portal, it's like, why wouldn't I just do... That's where I got stuck. I was like, I got a portal now. I can stream my whole catalog. Why would I not do that one? But I think that's where they get you. I don't want to be got. I want a good deal on this. I used to pay CD keys $20 a year for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. Sony locked it down, man. They
Yeah.
saw that shit
Yeah.
going on with Microsoft Game Pass. They're like, yeah, we're not doing that shit. They locked that shit down because like the only good deal I got was the one I got, which I still have
You've got it
premium
locked in for.
premium locked in until December 2025. I still got a whole another year.
Yeah, that's solid.
No.
That was your
I've
PlayStation
had it
Now
for-
conversion thing, right? From all those years ago?
Correct. Yeah. It converted me like 2 or 3 years of that shit. So
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I have to worry about this. I have to have the same conversation with you guys next year because at that point I got to decide what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Uh.
Continuing, we have next up is Biped, and then that brings us to the premium titles, which we had
Yeah, it does.
talked about earlier, but they're available now. We've got Sly Cooper 2 and 3, the Jack and Daxter precursor Legacy,
Mhm.
and then our PSVR 2 title, which is the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge.
And you guys may have seen this, but I've confirmed since last week that my Jack and Dexter was free because I own the PS4 version. So.
Yes.
Really?
Mine was too.
So that looks like they are honoring those ones that you buy on PS4. Yep.
Really? Because I did.
Yep.
I bought all of those. I bought that whole collection.
So yeah, when you fire up your
Mhm.
PS5, you should just have an option to add for free
So
Interesting.
for Jack.
I took my portal into my place of employment as a demo because I'm apparently still selling video games and video game accessories all these years later.
You sound like a
Yeah.
Yeah, propane.
instead of just propane.
That was the reference made.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they were impressed, of course. It worked flawlessly. Played some Astrobot. And then
There's only one person you failed on, and that was Brant. So
Yeah, that thing did not work. Tried to
yeah.
demo it to me.
Yeah, and I figured out what that was. So we had to set up this connection specifically, and it was flawless then. But that notification from Wario came through on Threads at the same time. Like I'm eating lunch, and I have this portal out, and I was like, let me go in there and look and see. And when I hovered over the 2 Sly games, it's like, upgrade. I got the upgrade option or $9.99, which I'm totally fine with. Let me buy these piecemeal if I want to, which I did with the first Sly Cooper. And then Jack and Daxter said either add to library or like download or something. It just natively knew that I owned that game already. So did they add anything to it, Cesar? Have you messed around with it to see if it has like the rewind features and all that, or is this just a straight
yeah, it
copy?
has all the current stuff on there. It's not a straight.
This is the way to
It has
play.
all the current stuff on there with the filters and everything on there.
Yeah.
And it's different because they redid most people don't care, but they redid the trophy list as well. It's like not the same trophy list,
Awesome.
but that's not important. But the save states,
Rewind.
filter, it's the same. Drop an ISO into a emulator. That's all they're doing.
This instantly became the best way to play Jack and Daxter, is what you're saying. Just like Sly Cooper.
I would prefer that way. I think the only thing you have to be wary of is that you have to manually go in there now, and it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. You have to go in there and manually change the controller setup to do the swap the X and Y axis, which I think it was already addressed in the native PS4 version.
Okay.
They did that weird PS2 and PS4 conversion. That's why that was more expensive. We didn't get that many games because they have to actually go in there and redo some of these games for it to work. It's different now because you're just dropping ISOs and emulators. So that's it. It's an extra step, not a big deal. That's the only difference. So
you would think
I'm not crazy like Renee. I can't do my up is down, down is up nonsense. That's mad.
Yeah,
that's
I can't do
madness.
that either. So
he has like I had to sit there for 45 minutes for him to configure Halo before he'll play because that's the way. So
he's there on the Pillar of Autumn, like
no.
looking at the beacon, trying to figure out which way.
Every time I hear him on the chat, he's always like the Prince of Persia for Sands of Time. He's like, no, that's not quite right. Give me a second.
I mean,
I'm like, come on, man, hurry
in
up.
Renee's defense, there were some games back in the day that didn't give you the option to change those. You didn't get to invert or not invert. You didn't get to switch those out. And I think Jack and Daxter was one of those. It was it was backwards, and whatever that was, you couldn't use it.
I mean, remember Sly was too, right? We had to go in there into the controller set and change that too, because I was like, that drove me insane. I think when I looked right, I went left, and when I looked left, I went right. I was like, that does not make fucking sense to me. But whatever. What's
interesting and where I would like to see things go to is we don't talk about this in the news enough because it seems like it's happening more and more and more, and it may just be something we're getting used to or is becoming more prolific. But we're getting native copies for Windows of like Super Mario 64 or Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like we're getting native Windows code versions of those. And that's only a generation before the PlayStation 2. And I would love to see, I know they're totally different machines. I think the PS2 was a lot more difficult to program for. But I would love to see us get to that point where these code sets run on a more universal, whether it's Windows, Linux, whatever, anybody can take any of those and place them into the emulator of their choosing where they run way better. And then we don't run into this stuff where the backwards compatibility takes forever. That's what these guys are doing on the side for that PS3 emulation.
Yeah. I mean, this is like me and Brent were talking about. That's why they put it on everything, right? It may not run well.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get the universal appeal of like having to be able to run anything. Yeah. That way somebody wants to take up the ARMs themselves and say, all right, I'll get it running on ARM chip. Sure, fuck it. I'll get it running on a cell phone. You know what I mean?
Somebody who's specialized in that and not just on the code base can view that code and be like, okay, I know how to apply this thing to my specialty. They used to do this. I feel like they really used to do this like back in the 3DS day. Oh, we can get this running on 3DS. There's no reason this should be able to run on this little ARM processor, and we got this shit running on 3DS. With a bunch of different things, like the homebrew scene for 3DS right there at the end was wicked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I think good examples right now are like Grand Theft Auto 3. They're getting to run natively on Dreamcast, and oh man, it was right there at the. I was just thinking about it. It was some other. I think it was some other Dreamcast thing.
It's got to be like Stay Puft, man. You just got to keep thinking about it.
I was right there. Then
just keep thinking about it.
I was like, mention Grand Theft Auto first, and then you can go back to it.
The most important thing, I'll forget it immediately. Grand Theft Auto.
Dropped it. Oh, but there's something else. I mean, Half-Life famously doesn't run well on Dreamcast, but... All right, is that it for PlayStation Plus games?
It is.
Brant, definitely jump in there and download Precursor Legacy. I want to see if it... I want to make sure it says it for you, too.
Sometime me and Brant's got to do our Sierra game, and I guess we can both do Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. So,
did y'all both get your Sierra game in for PlayStation VR?
Oh, yeah. Mine came in. So,
can you guys stream from the PS5 using the VR?
I think so.
I would watch.
Possibly, I believe.
I would watch this.
I think so.
I think I just look like a dumbass with my headset like this.
I mean, that's anyone in VR.
As you look at
that's how it works.
Yeah, being a dumbass is part of it, right?
Just being isolated, and you're seeing you're seeing stuff that nobody else is, so it's just a different.
I hope everybody looks forward to me quitting on Brand after 15 minutes after I get motion sickness. So.
I bet you'll be okay.
I've got some Dramamine. I'll come over and share it.
Take something beforehand.
Yeah, why am I playing something like I'm fucking Metal Gear Solid? I'm trying to snipe somebody.
That's exactly what he took. You guys do couch co-op and see if you can keep from bumping into each other.
Absolutely not.
It's not happening.
Absolutely not. I mean, when I did that Resident Evil 8 on the, I know it still happens because when I did that Resident Evil 8, it's like I beat it. I did it. I got there for like the first hour. After that, I was like,
That PSVR 2 still.
As I manually load each individual shell into my shotgun, which is time consuming, that somebody beats the shit out of me. So,
You're getting your ass whooped.
I got to load in each shot. It's crazy.
That PSVR 2 is still on sale. I was tempted. Just like the deal I got a couple weeks ago, Cesar, with the open box. I was looking at the open box deals at a certain retailer, and there were none. There was only Excellent, which was like $10 off. I'm like, I'm not saving $10 for somebody else to open the headset and put it on their face potentially.
And lick the screen, put it back in the box.
Ugh. It's no bueno.
Free.
Yep.
I just looked on the app and it says free.
Brant's good to go. Send it to your PS5.
Go. Brant play the only version of Jack we need, Jack and Daxter.
Ooh, I don't know.
There it is. I get so far in this game every time I try to play it, and then I just don't finish it.
I beat Jack.
I beat it
so many times. I can't beat Jack 2 for the life of me.
I feel like that one would catch me more than the first one did. I do like the linear nature of that first one, though.
It's such a huge change in that flow in the game, and I don't know.
Where does Jack 3 stand in all that?
I think it's like the Halo 2, Halo 3 bullshit.
Cliffhanger.
Like, oh, Jack 2 just like cuts off.
Yeah, but you didn't have to wait 4 years. You knew the next one was coming out the next year.
I mean, apparently everybody got in a room and talked about that because they made us do that for God of War 2 and 3. Remember, like finish the fight in God of War 3, and we had to wait like 65 years for that. So
yeah, 2 to 3 was. 2 would have
time.
been 07, like January 07. And then 3 it wasn't even the classic PS3 font. It wasn't the Spider-Man font. That was the new style case and everything. So that was at least, was that 2010? Maybe it was 3 years. Maybe it wasn't as bad as we were thinking.
Maybe. As I pull up a Google Chrome tab so I can get it up to 1 gig of RAM usage. So
immediately.
Yeah, like I got 2 tabs open. It's like, oh, we're using 1 gig of your RAM. I'm like, holy shit.
I mean, remember when God of War 2 came out, PS3 was a brand new console, and both of those were backwards compatible. So outside of what, probably Resistance, your best piece of PS3 software was God of War 2 for PS2.
Richard, we got, I think you're right. I think you're right, buddy. God of War 2 was in 2007, and God of War 3 was in 2010.
2010, yeah. Knew that gap for some reason.
We had the God of War collection 2 years after God of War 2, though.
The God of War collection came out in 2009?
Yes.
Wow. Those ran flawlessly. Was that a Blue Point collection? Did they do both of those? The Origins collection and the...
It is Blue Point.
Yeah, those are good fucking ports,
It's running the Blue Point engine on top of that. There's a reason why they bought them.
Yeah, fucking Blue Point.
And the funny note is, I'm looking at the publishers. It says Sony Computer Entertainment Worldwide, except for Japan. It was published by Capcom.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, man, after the Game Awards, I know we're going to get into it. Capcom is back in all the best ways. Capcom is so back. So is Virtua Fighter. I didn't see the Virtua Fighter news in here.
They did the Konami before Konami did that to Kojima. Remember, they did the exact same thing. They like fired all their talent and we spent too much money.
Let them go and form Clover and then Platinum, but then still publish those games. Yeah.
And then let them come back and call it Clovers.
Clovers. I love Clovers. That made it for me. I was like, fuck yeah. I hope that's sticking it to somebody. It's probably somebody that's been retired for 15 or 20 years, right? Yeah. But they're totally sticking it to somebody calling it Clovers.
I think the Capcom company's run by like an old school family, right? I think
still
finally came around. Yeah, I think it's still that family. Because there's always somebody entertaining the idea of Capcom selling them, like somebody buying Capcom, and it had to be like the Walmart family. It's like they all have to get together and do it. It's like the
Waltons.
Like, Sujimotos. Yeah, the Sujimotos. I think that's what they call them. I think it's still owned by the Sujimoto. Sujimoto is 83 years old. He still owns it.
Wow. Yeah, they get together like the Waltons to steer the family. Capcom's back, and there's I mean, we're gonna go through all this stuff, but there was a bunch of like PS2 era announcements where I was like, this is very specifically for a certain age of gamer, and all of my friends are currently appreciating everything they're announcing.
All right, here we go, Richard. I got you. We're looking at Tsujimoto is still the chairman and CEO of Capcom. His older son Haruhiro serves as Capcom's president and COO since 2007. His younger son Ryozo is a producer in the Monster Hunter series. It's a family affair.
Perfect.
Yep.
We got some Monster Hunter in this news too, didn't we?
I believe so.
The Monster Hunter.
Brand's favorite kind.
His favorite kind of news or his favorite kind of Monster Hunter?
His favorite kind of Monster Hunter.
Portable one, free one,
mobile base.
There was a mobile Monster Hunter commercial.
Remember the girl's like, including this monster right next to me right now. I was like, oh god, here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh, Sydney Goodman, the host.
Yeah.
She's talking about the monster on the screen right next to her. All right, holy shit.
We're back to 2007.
Let's dive into this thing. We're cooking meat on the. I've only ever played mobile Monster Hunter. I don't have the console PS2 one, or I think all the ones I have are for PSP.
I stupidly bought every
Monster Hunter
because I haven't played any but the PSP one with you. That's it. I don't think I've actually. Every time I see a Monster Hunter, it's like, this is the year. This is the fucking year. Get into Monster Hunter. Let's go. And I buy it, and I'm like all psyched up. And then I started up and getting the character creation. I sit there for 45 minutes, create my character, and it's like, all right, I'll come back to it later, and never do. So
should we all just play World? How many people can play World at one time?
World?
The entire world can play Monster Hunter World on one server. This is the World server. People can't connect. Where are they trying to connect to?
Shit.
The World server.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to give it a shot with you guys. I'm so anti-Warzone, it's now opened the doors for everything.
I think I put the most hours I put in Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter Stories, which is the RPG based stuff. So.
Yeah.
Which is not traditional Monster Hunter. So
here we go. Catherine Castle at Eurogamer.net has done the Lord's work from across the pond. She's the managing editor over there. She has compiled a list of everything announced at The Game Awards 2024, brought to you by Jeff Keighley, featuring Snoop Dogg, Han Solo, Harrison Ford,
Kojima-san.
Kojima-san was there. He was like, his voice was crackling when he introduced Kojima.
My favorite was Ken Kutaragi, which he introduced, and he thought he was going to come up, and then they never let him up. So.
That's when I was watching the Gersman stream. He was like, "Are they letting him up? Nope, you sit back down." Jeff was killing him.
He got too excited. He was like,
here we go. This was pre-show, I believe, because I thought I missed it. I thought it was like 30 minutes in that is when I caught it, but they were just starting, like they were kicking off.
No. It's you missed the Sidney Goodman part. So like the first announcement here is what you missed,
and that is Ninja Gaiden returns from the maker of Blasphemous. As I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, this is definitely a Brant game. This is 100% a Brant game, up and down.
Oh yeah.
Ninja Gaiden is back with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, made by the Game Kitchen, the studio behind the rock-hard Soulsy Metroidvania Blasphemous, and .emu, the publishers behind Streets of Rage 4. Ragebound looks set to follow in Blasphemous' 2D pixel art's footsteps for an agile slice-and-dice adventure that's almost certainly going to kick our collective asses when it arrives in summer 2025. We won't read all these. It's just, we'll paraphrase some of this stuff.
I talked to Renee about it because Renee, I think he was under the impression Ninja Gaiden was always 3D, and I was like, I remember the Ninja Gaiden on NES kicking my ass. That game's like impossible to fucking beat.
But there
was 3 of them, right? It was a trilogy on NES,
and they released that trilogy for Super Nintendo. Those are very bad ports, but that's a very expensive cartridge to attempt to collect.
I just remember trying to make those jumps, and I think some kind of fucking bat or some bird would always fucking knock me off. It's like stuff they purposely put there to kill you every time.
It's specialized in knockback, kind of like Mega Man, so you would know, or Castlevania, like a Medusa head or something.
Fuck Castlevania with the bats and everything. Like, it's like I'm trying to jump and something hits me and I fall down the hole.
But they paid homage to those original Castlevanias with this trailer. Like you saw a lot of Castlevanias, Ninja Gaidens, because you saw a lot of like the first one has like the moonlight battle, like where they're dueling, and you see the characters like kind of in a field of flowers or whatever, and like I recognize that original Ninja Gaiden stuff. It looks good. It looks really good. I did not think it would come back as a 2D series, But what is it's just a franchise now, right? And you have to have people who respect it enough to come out with a new one.
I mean, they've been talking for years what Team Ninja's supposed to be rebooting, what Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, right? We haven't seen
right, but who's Team
yet,
Ninja? Because Itagaki's not with Team Ninja anymore, is he? I thought he was gone for some reason.
No, Itagaki left after I think Dead or Alive 4, but they've been doing Dead or Alive after him. Like 5 and 6 has been their creation.
Were those successful?
So I think
in arcades,
yes, just the fact that they went to free to play. Yeah. Like I have the paid versions, but then they had it successfully did that free to play model where they give you like one.
I downloaded a couple of those, yeah.
More. Yeah.
Kind of like what Sony's trying with the My First Gran Turismo that's out now.
Right. I mean, they were one of the first ones that actually utilized that one. That's been. I mean, you can still download 5 and 6, and the Core Fighters is
Core Fighters. Right.
That is still available to this day. So
get good at a couple, and then download the full game if you really like it.
I think the only one that has like it's been like cut is probably 5 because you can't get Mai anymore. So it sucks because like when you fire up the game, like Mai is a character on that screen, but you can't select her unless you buy that DLC. And for whatever reason, they pulled that DLC. So.
And she's not on disc anywhere? There's no ultimate version or anything?
No, that she was only DLC. Wow. Yeah, and there was no ultimate version of this. So it's like, it sucks because you look at that menu, she's always there. And unless you own that DLC, you cannot select her. So
that'd be infuriating. And you know there's a good chance it's on disc.
6 is still purchasable.
6 is what now?
She's on 6 and she's purchasable on 6. I think it was some kind of licensing agreement where they let it go on 5 for whatever reason. So it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever.
Your Dead or Alive update. I think we'll shoot through a bunch of these.
Hey man, you can play all the Dead or Alives on Xbox.
Dedicated DOA box.
It is a dedicated DOA box.
One move away is one for the unpacking heads out there. My kids loved unpacking and they beat it. I think it shows on my trophy list that I beat unpacking. I did not finish unpacking. They loved it.
I was watching a streamer and she said that she did this 14 times in her life and she's like, I don't need a video game to show me about moving away from a house. Yeah. So she's like, I'm good.
I felt the same way, and they've moved once, and they didn't have to do the whole decide what we want to take or not take or be forced to take certain things. So they did not have to experience that. I think it was a much more interesting experience. Slay the Spire 2 gets a new gameplay trailer. Has anybody played Slay the Spire? I know nothing about those.
That's a card-based game, right? Like you build your decks and you go up this tower and you have to
people get addicted to it like the Balatro. I feel like it's a precursor to Balatro.
It's like a more interactive Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You build a deck and you actually have like more interaction with what you do in your environment versus like, oh, I got to go fight Joey for the 14th time. So
Dave the Diver in the Jungle teased. How's he going to dive in the jungle?
Richard's favorite indie game.
Dave Never played it. So yeah. At the time of writing Eurogamer notes, it's unclear whether this is an expansion or a full-blown sequel. But whatever it is, it's coming in late 2025. A lot of this stuff was further out, but it's still like, I feel like most of it was next year. And I didn't see, one of the trailers definitely said 2026. Yeah. What I did not like seeing is stuff with like Xbox One underneath it. And I'm just thinking is it going to be a weaker version because of this? Like what's holding it back? Are they gonna not make different versions? But they sold a shit ton of Xbox Ones, and the series consoles are backwards compatible, so maybe developers are taking those numbers into consideration. Thick as Thieves is a new stealth action multiplayer game from Warren Spector Studio, which is called Other Side Entertainment. Thick as Thieves, a multiplayer thief 'em up that blends heist-based stealth with frantic action as you work to beat other would-be hustlers to the punch as you steal high-value treasures from fancy mansions. It's coming out in 2026. Here's one of them. To PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. So I read about this next game, Shadow Labyrinth, and they said it was a Pac-Man related thing, but I did not see this trailer for this game. What about it was Pac-Man related?
He has like a yellow orb that follows him that eats stuff like Pac-Man.
Just as the character moves around, like womp 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 there.
It does, and I think there's some dedicated stuff where you shoot that yellow orb and it does like interactive Pac-Man eating stuff in the environment as it eats enemies.
There's Sidney Goodman introducing it. This was all on the pre-show, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yes.
So they had a bunch of announcements before. I'm just trying to watch this real quick and kind of get the gist of it. Is it 2D?
Yes, it's a
There's the
Metrovania.
Pac-Man. Shadow Labyrinth. Okay. This looks like a Brant game. My first hot take.
I mean, it's Metrovania. They typically are.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't look bad. It's kind of weird that that's maybe Pac-Man following you and eating things, but hey, it's just
that's what Pac-Man does, right?
interesting spin. I think I saw it was only like $40 or $50. It wasn't a $70 title. Steel Paws is a new mobile game from Yu Suzuki. I didn't see this either. You guys might want to handle some of these because I didn't start watching this. I didn't even know it was real stuff.
This is coming to Netflix games in 2025.
Is that an exclusive deal with them?
I believe
Okay.
so. I mean, I think Netflix games has released stuff on other platforms, but the whole shtick is that it's included with your Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
I think one of this is an anime-infused adventure. Looks like featuring a Mega Man-like heroine and his robot buddy as they tackle Tower of Babel-like structure. No more details as of yet, though.
I thought Yu Suzuki retired.
No, he's been doing Shenmue. She did Shenmue 3, and then talks about doing Shenmue 4, but then actually hasn't done it yet.
Need another PlayStation E3
He's
show
also-
with a Kickstarter.
He's also played He's also created Air Twister, which is a game I played last year, which is just a ode to Space Harrier with Queen-like music.
I bought Air Twister. I supported that one.
Kyoto is a gorgeous pixel sandbox from Core Keeper Dev. Core Keeper is a game that's very popular with streamers right now. It's like a weird sandbox thing that's similar to Terraria, I think. That's what it always looks like to me. But it is a multiplayer game. It looks like a delight. It doesn't really say much on here. It says they showed 30 seconds of it, and there's a Steam page reveal for it. And then you have Rematches, the next game from Sifu Studio Slow Clap, and it's about football.
That is definitely a soccer
5
game.
versus 5 matches mode. Yep. So blah 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 blah, and this is coming to Xbox Series consoles, PS5, and PC next year. Solosta 2, I never played the first one, is coming to early access in 2025. It's a huge RPG with a demo coming soon. I'm assuming this is on PC, where you roll the dice using a D20 system, which probably need to ask Russell what the fuck a D20 system is, to guide the party through a sort of fantastical adventures. And when you know it, they even got Baldur's Gate 3 narrator Amelia Tyler on board too.
Nice.
Then we got to the big reveals after the main show had started.
Yeah, I was about to say this is where I picked up.
We had a first look at the Witcher 4. I think this is one of the ones that I think was referred to as 2 games that are far off, that are not coming anytime soon. I would imagine this is one of them. It was like I think it said it was a mostly CG trailer. Nothing was really too much in game on here. They mentioned on here that the trailer was put together on an unannounced NVIDIA RTX GPU. That's all they said up there at the time. Seems like you have a grown-up Ciri as the main character as the Witcher. So. And
she looked awesome, and that game looks phenomenal. I guess that was the natural progression is for Ciri to be the next Witcher lore.
I think if you played Witcher 3 Wine and Blood, it kind of closed the door on Geralt. So
that makes sense.
And Ciri was going to take up the mantle of that. Then it's always funny because you have was it Miyazaki, who creates the Elden Ring series, and he was quoted earlier they didn't have anything Elden Ring 2 related coming out.
He was right.
But then and he was not wrong. So they announced Elden Ring Night Rain, which is a Take Between Lands, which is a co-op version of this game. It's a multiplayer-based game in the same realm as in Elden Ring 2. I mean, Elden Ring 2. Elden Ring, excuse me.
Elden Ring, TOO. Is this my...
This is coming in 2025.
Is this my introduction to Elden Ring? Do I play multiplayer with you guys?
We can try. I've played hundreds of hours of Elden Ring and never beaten it, so it's like my version of Halo.
Very specific reference. Oh, I wish we'd stream that so it was available everywhere forever.
Me not beating Halo, and we talk about it all the fucking time. Then next up, you had the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally heading to PC, and it's much sooner. You don't have to wait the full year. Coming out January 23rd, 2025, and they announced that it has enhanced textures and modeling, which this game looks crazy on PS5. And I heard it looks even more crazier on PS5 Pro, so I imagine it's going to look even more crazier on PC because it does DLSS and VR.
The specs were super high for PC, like what they're specking out or whatever the term is. What do they say with that? PC specs posted. What is that? I'm drawing a blank here. PC requirements, like what they're
right. Well, like minimum required, and
But they're also saying they're going to try to optimize it for Steam Deck. So I think the first game ran super well on Steam Deck.
I think it's just trying to find that balance because Square Enix is very big on trying to be a better third-party company, right? So they're trying to make sure as many people can play their games. They're definitely going the Capcom method, and
we appreciate that.
I got a feeling that PC is probably going to be there like the Capcom does. PC is their main platform, and then they port to everything else, right? But they port.
And you know what? So I end up double and triple dipping in places where I shouldn't because they make them available that way.
And to answer your question, thinking inside the box, we did not talk about the Suicide Squad shutting down, which I think is supposed to be January, early next year. I think the final season's in January.
I think Brent had that in the news and removed it.
I had it was in there. Bumped it just because of the amount of stuff that was announced at the Game Awards.
It is super cheap on Xbox. It's $4.99, right? I think it's $19.99 on PlayStation, and I think that's it, right? I think the available seasons will be available. And there will be an offline mode, and I think that's just that.
They're not removing it or anything, but they're not doing any more seasons or anything like that. This will end wrap up the fight with Brainiac or whatever they're supposed to be doing.
It's supposed to bring the end game, right? It just
pretty much
game, right. So it's just. So I think it's it's a good deal right now on the Xbox. So $5, you can't really beat that, right? Digital copy, go for it.
Did we get that in a Humble Bundle or anything for PC? Not yet. It's coming.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming.
It'll be
shortly,
next month's Humble Bundle.
Then we had Catly, which is a photorealistic cat game. I sat there at my screen and kept saying the Tin Cats 45 times, but it was not that.
The Tin Cats?
It was yep. Move over, Stray, the photorealistic fantasy cat adventure is here to steal your milk, and this will be coming to PC. Oddly enough, Apple Watches, which I think is probably what their Tamagotchi version of this, and Nintendo Switch.
Apple Watches.
I think it's just you taking care of cats. This is Richard's one of his favorite games of the show.
Way up there. It's way up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the next game from the Ico creator, Fumito Ueda.
This one is also probably a ways out, like you were mentioning, Cesar.
Yeah. This is being published by Epic Games. Is all we saw, right? Epic Games. This was a proof of concept, so I think they just kind of like started development on it. Is what we're getting on here.
He showed off a proof of concept like 4 years ago for something else after Last Guardian.
Yeah. Well, remember he left Sony and he's like, I want to make these Facebook type games, right? Yeah. And we never heard from him since. He's like, he did the contract work to finish The Last Guardian, and like you said, and he just disappeared. He wanted to do these mobile type games, and it seems like he's back to like what he was doing before. It just shows a character climb up a giant robot, a la like
Shadow of the Colossus,
right?
And as the character's moving, the spine of the robot it's like illuminating as they move.
And it's like Last Guardians, a little bit of everything he's done, right? The character looks like Ico, looks like the Last Guardians. It comes up there, and it's just a robot head that flies up into the sky as all these like dark shadows are coming to you at the screen. So no release date on that one, but I agree with Richard. I think this is probably far out, like 2026 or later, probably.
And I noted to you guys in the chat, like we got Ico and Shadow of the Colossus in the same console generation. Like we got it for the same hard. Yeah. Should Shadow of the Colossus been a PS2 title? Maybe not. But
I mean, Ico was a PS1 title originally. Right? That was the whole thing. Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with Ueda games is like, all right, this was announced now, 2024. When is this actually coming out, and what is it actually coming out on?
He's a perfectionist. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, who knows?
Friend of the show, Joel, said, I look forward to playing this in 2030. And
he's not wrong.
Because I pre-ordered Last Guardian for PS3 many, many, many years ago, and it never appeared on PS3.
Yeah, a PS4 title, even though it was secretly, supposedly canceled, remember? And then they just kind of like, was it that summer of games that they announced The Last Guardian? Was that one of those games?
That was, that was one of the E3 of Dreams or whatever else we talked about.
Then we had a trailer for Obsidian's Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian releasing 2 games next year, man. They're really pulling their weight. Comes out 2025. This is going to be included on Game Pass, series consoles, PC, and as well as PS5.
Did you guys ever play that first one? This seems like a me game.
It is very Skyrim-ish.
Fallout-y.
Play it. Yes. Yeah. I got it on PS4 and had to do the headache way of upgrading it to PS5 to get the free PS5 version, because I think you had to own the PS4 copy and then all the DLC before you can get the PS5 version. It was some kind of weird way of upgrading it on there. So nothing yet. It's coming 2025. We don't know if it's going to be day and date for the PS5 release.
They did put Game Pass.
Game
Pass was in that trailer too, so that's a huge Game Pass get.
Yeah, I mean it's a Microsoft game, right?
Oh, so the Obsidian lead-in stuff was so funny about them making developers of one of your favorite games of all time, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Was it Fallout 3?
Yeah, Fallout 3 2, New Vegas. All of their stuff that's like the second version of something. They're very talented developers, though. There's a lot of people out there that prefer KOTOR 2 and New Vegas to the originals.
I mean, New Vegas was the people preferred that one because it was like a lot of the development team from Fallout 2 from Interplay. That was like New Vegas was supposed to be the true Fallout 3, and so they kind of just converted it to that. So I think that's why a lot of people preferred that one. I mean, there's a lot of love for it.
So I'll jump in and give you a break. This was another one of my games of the show, I feel. Split Fiction is the next game from It Takes Two Studios. So Joseph Fares came out there, and it seems like the way the story works is that these two characters, he's all about the concurrent co-op. What is it called? What is the term for that? You're playing the same story at the same time. So the first iteration of this was A Way Out. And then we got It Takes Two a couple years ago, which they noted won game of the year, right? At the Game Awards a couple of years ago. It Takes Two, and we just got on PlayStation Plus. We talked about it last month. But in this one, it seems like the two characters in the stories don't realize their stories, and their stories start intertwining. And one of them is like a sci-fi based one, and then one of them is more of like a high fantasy, like dragons and swords and castles and wizards and magic, and it looked awesome. And it seems like the characters are confused while these worlds are interweaving between each other, and they're trying to adapt, and which I think is always a theme in his games. Like the characters don't always get along. They're trying to figure out each other and how they contribute to each other in the story as they go. But that one looked incredible to me. And it's coming soon. He said 2 months, and that's actually March 2025. You'll be able to play Split Fiction. Next up was Steel Hunters, which is Eurogamer describes as Apex meets Mechs from World of Tanks Studio. I must have moved at this point. I don't remember seeing this.
I don't remember seeing this one.
Is that the one that people thought was like Titanfall or something? Titanfall looking?
No, I never gave myself up for
tap this trailer
like that ever again.
Well, somebody said Apex meets Mechs, so I guess it would be a Titanfall inspired.
I'm pretty sure, Brant, you're right. I mean,
yes,
right.
Brant. I'm scoping through the trailer real quick. This does look very Titanfall-esque. Which
those Zoids or Beast Wars or something like that. Also.
Which, if they're not going to make a new Titanfall, might as well do a spiritual successor, right, on your own. Next up was The Long Dark 2 Black Frost. And I was watching this trailer and I was like, I know that character. Like, I've seen that artwork before. Where is that
I think we got that game right on PS4. Long
I think
Dark.
so. The sequel to The Long Dark is coming to early access in 2026. So that's a long ways off for just an early access game. Looks to be very much more of the same chilly survival fare as the first game from the looks of the reveal trailer, but I'm sure there will be nuances aplenty to dig into once more details start to emerge closer to release. Next up was everybody's favorite magician.
I was trying to find a certain GIF with a ping pong ball flying in somebody's face. Send it to Richard, but I couldn't find it in the GIF keyboard. So,
I said to you guys in the chat, I said, "Magic time." Everyone's favorite family and magician.
You see the USB, now you don't. See the USB, now you don't.
Look behind you, it's on the table.
Oh, it's over there. I left it in medieval times.
Oh, the Randy Pitchford jokes. And why is Jeff trotting him out there? Jeff knows what's up. Like, what are you doing? You can't find anybody else from Gearbox but Randy Pitchford to trot out there.
I mean, he's the newly acquired, reacquired from Take-Two. So I mean,
God,
he's the face of the studio. He's the face of Borderlands. I mean,
he's the face of
Richard
pornography on USB sticks and medieval times.
Richard would be talking shit if he came out there and gave him another Brothers in Arms that was a true successor. He'd be like, yeah.
So the wife and I were watching the Game Awards at this point, and I was like, I'm incredulous. I'm incredulous. I'm like, of all the people, like, yes, we knew Borderlands was coming, but you can't trot this person out. And she's reading a book or something. She glances up. She said, he looks nice. And she goes back to whatever she was doing.
Oh, no.
Oh, he looks nice. I just glared. Like, there's so many years of history of this person. He talked about Borderlands 4, which looks like Borderlands 4. It looks like a new race of enemies, like a new type of threat, maybe. Kind of like we got from Helldivers later on. But time will tell on that one. I want to love Borderlands.
It's coming pretty quickly next year, right? Next year comes.
Did it say? Yeah.
Soon.
Oh, yeah. It's coming in 2025. I always want to love Borderlands. Like, I think that's one we could stream and have fun with, and it just never.
It's like our version of a first-person shooter of Monster Hunter, right? Me and you always try to start it up and like, let's do co-op Borderlands, and we do it for like an hour, and like and you're always like, this is okay because I think we did with Borderlands 3. You're like, this is okay, let's try it again next time, and we never pick it back up.
It's fine, but I'm not compelled to. And that was my experience with Elder Scrolls Online. Russell and I played it for like 2 or 3 hours. It's like, okay, that was what that is. I think I'm good. I don't think we have to look any further into this thing. I love this announcement, and this may convince me to go ahead and purchase this game and the expansion or whatever I need to get.
Should I have it?
Final Fantasy 16 is having a crossover with Tekken 8, and that character includes Clive Rossfield. He will be in Tekken 8 on what's that?
I mean, I'm just glad because what was it? Tekken 7 had 15 also, so they
Noctis was in that one.
Continuing the Final Fantasy, yeah.
I did read an argument that Clive and Noctis would be better fits for Soul Calibur. I'm not going to argue that point here on this podcast because I agree with them. Please give us a these weapons-based fighters.
Baby.
I mean,
before we got Hiachi on Soul Calibur 2, it was supposed to be
I just read that. I just read that interview. That would have been huge.
That deal fell through at the very end, and they threw in Hiachi in there. Yeah,
Cloud would have been phenomenal. Your 3 characters are Spawn, Link, and Cloud. Come on. Heihachi was the worst. He's still a good pick, but that's easily the worst guest character.
I mean, that was phoning it in, right? I mean, you already had like models ready for it, right? So
yeah, and then Cesar and I sold these games at retail. When you're looking at those 3 versions of that game, there's a clear third place one that you want to purchase, and it's not. It's definitely.
I agree with Richard because there was the third version of Soul Calibur 2 that I bought, and that was the one we're discussing right now. It was not high on my list.
What was your first one?
It's like
what was your second one? This is everyone's order of Soul Calibur purchases. I guarantee you, everybody who has or had access to those consoles is buying them in that particular order.
Yeah.
Clive is coming to Tekken 8 on December 16th. For a moment, I thought Square Enix just announced a Final Fantasy 16 sequel, but alas, just a crossover. Phoenix says Phoenix is duking out with Kazuma's big dragon in the background. That's cool. But the map is actually Phoenix Gate. It's that point in the game, and you'll have the music and stuff like that. It looked awesome. Clive looked great in there. Yeah, and Ben Starr was at the show. That still remains one of my favorite games from this generation. I love.
He voiced the character in the fighting game too. Yeah.
Splitgate 2 gets new gameplay trailer. I feel like one of us tried the first one at least. It's like a Portal Halo looking crossover shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I played. Did I play Splitgate? I don't know if I played Splitgate 2.
I feel like I played the first one because of that Portal Halo element, but it was like, okay, this is another one of those. I'm not super.
I'm looking.
Virtual Fighter, while Cesar looks that up, Virtual Fighter returns from the makers of Like a Dragon, and then after the show, there was a Virtual Fighter Direct that I stayed up for. I was hoping for a little bit more.
I fell back asleep after like the first 10 minutes. It's like, this doesn't look like they're going to show anything new, and I was like, no, I'm not watching this.
Is Virtual Fighter 5 like one of the longest supported titles ever?
It was the last one they did, which was what, like 08 or something like that, or like 2010 or something.
We
20.
bought it for PS3 as like a, if not a launch title, like a launch window title. I feel like I bought that in like January 06 or January 07.
Because I think it was was it a 360 exclusive? And then they came out with like an enhanced edition for PS3 later.
And then we all got
it
on PlayStation Plus like a year ago with the vintage pack that we could buy, the add-on. Just when you thought RGG was already up to its eyeballs with Like a Dragon games, here they are with a Virtua Fighter revival. More details coming in a special broadcast. I think the main gist of the special broadcast was that final aforementioned Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, I think is what they're calling it. That's coming out in January for Steam. That is the penultimate. That is the ultimate. That is the final version of Virtua Fighter 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's $20. It's on sale right now for $16, and there is an open beta, so you can play that. And I think I saw from Steam Deck HQ you can play it on Steam Deck pretty well.
Yep.
So give that a go. They're also they announced a big tournament. Limited Run Games is publishing a physical copy of Virtua Fighter 2 on Xbox. And Virtua Fighter 5, I believe, is getting a copy for PS4.
PS4.
That's
correct.
Yes.
Yep.
I was like, this is kind of what? Just give us all of them together in one. Come on.
I think that Virtua Fighter 2 is what, the 360 port?
I think so.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is pretty amazing how they were able to pull that off and put it on a disc somehow.
Yep.
So.
Which is, I'm not going to complain about physical media being available, but I really wanted a Virtua Fighter collection. I stayed up hoping that I would see. And when they started talking about the 30-year history and showing all the different ports and stuff, and
how the original team, but Yu Suzuki got back together to do this one. So
I was like, man, this is it right here. We're gonna get a collection with all of them, and I'm buying this on every platform.
Hey, there might be time, man, because it seems like this is still early in development. There was no launch date, right?
I don't think so.
We're looking at what I would imagine late 2025, probably 2026 be on the 100% sure side. But
and again, it would just like I have access to everything. I would like for more people to be able to play Virtua Fighter and them to put the rollback net code and everything. And
I mean, what I want is Fighting Vipers after this.
Is it not on any of the other collections that are out?
I think it came out PS3 and 360, if I'm not mistaken.
As a downloadable copy or included with something?
It was a downloadable copy, but it was like their little arcades or whatever it was. But I would love a new version of. It's like my version of Darkstalkers, where I would love a new Darkstalkers. I would love a new Fighting Vipers as well. So it's like the weird cousin of the Virtua Fighter series. So.
And I will give it to Sega that it's cool that these are actually getting broken out. It seems like their legacy for the past 10 to 15 years has been in the Yakuza series. Like, oh yeah, you can still play those. There are unlockables in this game. You just gotta buy it in the arcade, or I don't know how they unlock in the game, but it's good to see them have the dedicated ports and native versions of these. I want to break it that PS5 copy that we got and try that out again. Whatever that version of 5 was called.
I'm fairly certain they just announced. Then they just announced the retro games you play in Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza.
Yep, I saw that list somewhere.
They just announced them, right? Which is always in the arcade shop. Wherever they go, and they always have a fucking arcade shop.
They do. Oh, Brant, you want to take over? You want to take over some more Game Awards coverage?
Yeah,
we're gonna triple team this thing.
Continuing on.
This game looked good.
We have something from the Like a Dragon devs, something new called Project Century. Looks very like a dragon-like, but it's set in 1950s Japan.
About to say like right after turn of the century, right?
Yeah.
So it looks pretty interesting. Next
it was gorgeous, like the busy streets and the markets and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, this looks. It was
in that period. If you like, Rich, you haven't gotten that far with Demon Slayer, but it's like that's that whole period where they're doing that turn of the century where they're like trying to modernize Japan, put the lights up, put trains, and It's like that whole they don't want anybody carrying swords. They were trying to modernize Japan at that time.
So there's like a cultural conflict as well as the march of progress and more modern things.
Because I think in that trailer they were jumping somebody who was carrying a sword in there. So like the police were. I think that was like their thing was they would detain people who were carrying swords because it was illegal to. I think the emperor made it illegal to carry swords out.
The modern laws are clashing with like age-old tradition, like centuries of traditions and family heritage and stuff. Yeah. That's gonna be a great time period to visit in that engine, and with their storytelling capabilities.
And then Renee's Game of the Year comes up here.
What'd you say was back on the menu?
Gravity cubes.
Gravity cubes are back on the menu. Is the text we got.
Next up from Saber, as we're alluding to, is a brand new game in the Turok series, Turok Origins. Not much, just kind of a debut trailer.
We saw like different characters you can pick.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll see more much later on, but it's been. I mean, they just finished re-releasing all of the original Turok games.
64 ones.
So all the ones from the 64, yeah.
Have they all gone through that? What is Night Dive's engine?
I think so. They handled all that weird Night Dive, like you said. That Night Dive.
Is it Kex? Is Night Dive do Kex or is that somebody else?
I think it is Kex. Yeah. I think you're right.
But then we're also getting like the unimproved ports. We're just getting versions. We're just getting straight ports to that Nintendo Switch Online service.
Yeah,
I think all the Turoks are in there.
So the only ones we're missing out is the ones that came out later on GameCube and Xbox.
Turok Evolution,
all play together. Yep. And then the PS3 361, which was the relaunch from when Disney was making.
That's just
games.
Turok, right?
So,
I think friend of the show Charles is a big fan of that Turok, by the way. Which I always find surprising because I'm like, I don't find anybody that talks positively about this, but he loves that one.
I mean, the last time we talked about that version of Turok was just now, right? I mean, we don't usually talk often.
I have it. I have a copy.
I also own a copy on PS3, so I'm like,
should we play that Turok?
Maybe. Then we had Brant's favorite Warframe game.
Say next up, we were talking about this in the pre-show or at the beginning of the show with this Warframe 1999, which, as we were talking, if you haven't ever touched Warframe, or maybe you touched it in the beginning like we did, you kind of looked at this and was like, wow, that looks completely fucking different from what I remember.
I mean, yeah, I remember it was like Warframe started off as like a pseudo sequel to like Dark Sector, right?
Yeah.
Like these weird mecha suits, and I think Warframe was like you had this your character was in this full suit, you never saw their face, there was never a story, you were just going around killing enemies. Now it's like a full story with like full on characters. And if you like, Richard has mentioned this many times in this podcast, especially today, from what we've seen from the beginning to what we've seen like on this trailer for what's coming out tomorrow, I have no idea how the fuck we got here. So, and how do I fucking follow the story to get to this point?
I know, right?
And why are we back in the year 1999? Because this game was supposed to take place in like the 2100s. So,
how did they end up going backwards?
So many questions. So many questions, and then we have Brant's game of the show, which is Pokemon with guns.
Power World getting another update.
There's two versions. They announced two versions: Pokemon Smith and Pokemon Wesson.
So aside from the fact that since they're fighting legal troubles with Nintendo,
for certain concepts, right?
Yeah,
concepts. It's not the
update. So the update with that, real quick, since we're on this,
didn't seem like it would. They was helping their cause.
They put out an update to where now, when you summon a PAL, you don't throw the totally not a Pokeball item. You go and pick the PAL, and it just kind of appears next to you.
Oh,
so.
Spatial magic, man.
I even heard when I was watching this part of the Game Awards, I even felt like I heard the do 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 do. Like I felt like I heard that exact theme and everything.
I just saw somebody shooting Pokemon with guns. It's like, oh, Brant game immediately. That's all I saw.
But yes, this Power World.
Richard was like, I don't know, man. I see the God of War Norse stuff in here. I was like, oh god.
Power World is getting this. this new update called Faybreak on
Ares!
December 23rd.
Is Kratos an unlockable character?
Now we have Cesar's game of the show, Onimusha.
Yeah, this was cool as
I
shit.
knew,
Way
I knew
of
as
the
soon as I saw
Sword.
the orbs. As soon as I saw the orbs,
This was
I knew
cool
what
as
it was.
shit.
Coming in 2026. This was another cinematic trailer, so
Masterpiece. I forgot Masterpiece.
There was some gameplay in that though, or was it just like pre-rendered gameplay?
It's all.
No, it's all-
It was all cinematic.
it's all cinematic.
I feel like they were like jumping over enemies and cutting them and stuff. Like I feel like we saw some movement and stuff in there. Maybe
I
not,
don't know. And then according to Eurogamer, says only a very brief cinematic
Yeah.
reveal.
but it was impressive. Onimusha.
I'm excited. I love Onimusha. I love Onimusha with every fever, like every fiber of my being.
Of all the
so-
Capcom franchises I thought they would bring back, Onimusha was last on the list. There's no other upcoming games we're going to talk about that I thought would make a comeback.
I pray to God that somehow in this game we try and travel to modern day Paris so we can put Jean Reno back in there too. So let's just complete the circle.
Full circle Gene Reno.
Let's just make it a pseudo sequel to 3, right?
Is Onimusha does it also suffer from the like Devil May Cry, Castlevania, Super Mario, where the second one is like totally different? Onimusha 2 is pretty solid.
Dawn of Dreams, which I think is the 4th one, is the one that kind of like they try to change things up because they changed the MC and went a different direction,
Yeah.
and I think they never caught on because that's why the series kind of died there. Outside of the Onimusha Tactics, which was on the Game Boy Advance, which is like just a straight rip of Final Fantasy.
That's the one I remember selling is the Dawn of Dreams. I think that one came out when I was in retail.
I enjoyed all 5 of those games, and I would replay all 5 of those games in a collection. I'm kind of disappointed, like Richard had said over
we
here with
talked
Virtua
about
Fighter, that there's not a 2, 3, 4.
And the first one did
like
well,
they've kinda been
right?
doing with
It
Mega
came
Man.
out on everything. It came
Yeah.
out on PC, Steam, Xbox,
Mhm.
Switch, PlayStation.
I remember because I had to import all my physical copies because I don't think we got a physical copy release in the US. So
For that Onimusha, the original. So we never got a
one,
physical
yeah.
copy of that. Maybe that's the
I
reason the
believe
sales
so.
weren't that great. We never got 2, 3, and 4 after that.
I blame Brant.
Always blame Brant.
Publish it, put it in a storefront, brick and mortar.
Next up, we have the first Berserker, Kazan. This was the one that I think they had the Russo brothers, like...
Mhm.
Yeah, they were talking about it. What is
In the trailer,
Berserker?
they're-
I thought it was like Berserk the manga, but I have no
Berserker.
clue what this property or anything is.
It's that whole thing with Nexon, right? I think it's that Dungeon series, Dungeon Fighter stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's part of that. Like it's characters from that world. So they have several games running in that world. I
What
don't
are the
know
games?
the lore
Yeah,
of it.
I have no clue what this is even from.
I know of DNF because I'm a huge fighter fan, and that's the only game I played in that series in that world. So
Berserker. Kazan.
what's on?
Hardcore action role playing game.
It was mostly concept, right? It was just a trailer. I don't know.
Yeah,
if they had shown
there's
much
a
I don't
demo
think there
coming.
was gameplay in this either.
We're getting a demo though.
But yeah,
It's coming soon.
launching, what is that, March 27th, 2025?
It's a Nexon game.
Yeah, I believe when I see it. Yeah.
What is this? I don't even know what this is. Like what series or anything. What the hell is this?
I never
guess
played
is as
any
good
of
as
the
mine?
DNF
Yeah,
games.
this is-
So I think it was. Is it called the Dungeon Fighters? I think it's called Dungeon Fighters. DNF.
I just don't like is like the first Berserker Kazan. I'm like, I don't know who was like the second or third one. Why are we celebrating the first one all of a sudden?
It's called. It's. I'm looking on Wikipedia. It's called the Dungeon Fighter series. It's called DNF. Not do not finish. But it's
did not
something
qualify.
developed by Nexon. Yeah. That started in 2005 as a online multiplayer side-scrolling beat 'em up that features multiple classes to choose from. So apparently, all of a sudden, they decided they want to spin off all these games off the DNF like universe.
So Berserker's probably
So-
one of the classes, and this is the first.
It's one of the
Berserker.
classes on there. I don't think there's like a name tied to it. I don't think there's that type of like history on there. So apparently, the second game on here I'm looking at here, Dungeon Fighter Live: Fall of Hindon Myra, was on Xbox Live Arcade. It was a 360 exclusive. So
Oh, Nexon makes Maple Story. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's something that within the last couple of years, like DNF Duel is the one I'm talking about. That's a fighting game that's been made by Arxis that does the BlazBlue and the Guilty
It's
Gear.
currently $14.99 on Steam.
And you should buy it. And
it looks like an old school brawler, like Guardian Heroes or something. Dungeon and Fighter Duel. Is it co-op?
Yeah.
Crusader, Berserker. Yeah, there's definitely a Berserker in there. There he is. Ranked match.
Oh.
All right, continue, Brandon. Let us derail you, man.
I had to figure out what this
Sorry.
is. It was driving me crazy.
Next up was a spin-off standalone Dying Light, The Beast, which is getting released summer 2025.
Release the Beast.
Release the Beast.
Oh no.
Summer 2025.
Write that down. Write that down. That's your episode title right there.
I've got 2 things down already. We'll just throw it in the mix.
Write that down.
I like gravity cubes back on the menu myself.
Stage Fright is a new game from the makers of Overcooked. It's a brand new co-op adventure.
It's the same type premise, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was
I mean, they didn't really show much, right?
Almost like
Yeah.
it looked like one of the
Like-
Joseph Fares games. It looked like one of those co-op.
Yeah.
So I think you had walked away. What is the term I was trying to come up with where it's like a co-op, like Adventures of Cookie and Cream? Like, that's not exactly co-op like Gears of War is co-op. What is that? Congruent co-op? Concurrent co-op? There's a term for that type of like where you need the other person to help progress or do something, more than like what Gears of War did or some of the other co-op experiences. We can figure it out later. It was just bugging me.
co-op do-op.
That works too.
I think they call it duo progression. I think.
The duo progression genre.
I don't think they call it co-op. I think it's called duo progression just because of the fact that you need 2 people to
Yeah.
complete the task.
Kind of craving some cookies and cream. That would be a fun stream.
Which one? The food or the
PS2
game?
game.
Don't do it. Your diabetes.
I mean, there's a certain cookie that we can all partake.
It partakes us
Certain cookie.
an hour or 2 later against our will.
Oh no.
I still, man, there's not many things I remember in my life, man, but that's one of the things I remember in my life is eating that fucking sugar-free cookies.
Oh, no.
Erythritol.
Oh no.
I still
Like the
remember that, 'cause
gummy bears.
I remember,
Nightmare.
holy shit.
rough.
Man.
Black Forest sugar-free gummy bears.
I remember that night exactly because I was in such pain. I had the TV on. It was playing Sybil in the background, and I almost remember like word for word that fucking Sybil episode because I was in so much fucking pain.
We ate that whole
I
tray
think
of
that's what-
cookies. It was the entire sleeve of those cookies from
Gosh.
Walmart.
And that's why when Richard put out that tray again, I said, "Nope, I'm not falling for that for the 3rd time." I know.
I was
I'm
in
not doing
pain.
it.
I was in agony. I was like, what did I ate good. Like I didn't eat anything that was bad for me. What happened? What do I do to deserve this?
Oh man, I was tossing.
What were we playing? Blitz?
I
Was that
thought-
Blitz Days or like what, Star Fox
Yeah.
Adventures? Russell wasn't there.
I feel like it was that night that we stayed up to. It was like before Thanksgiving, right? I
Probably.
think that's when they're like launching all those deals early, and we're like, "Holy shit, they're rocking all this shit
Oh,
early."
yeah.
Because I think we bought that. I bought that DS Lite, and I was like, there was
Yeah.
so much shit like that.
The 3DS, the
that's
new
what-
3DS
one,
was
yeah.
on there. Yeah.
Not the XL one, just but
Yep.
the the new 3DS. They kind of skipped out over here with the actual circle pad. I think it was the Mario Brothers one. I
Mhm.
remember like they were dropping all that shit early because me and you were always used to like always having to like stay up like Friday night. Remember right after
Mhm.
Thanksgiving to get all that shit. And all of a sudden they were dropping that shit early and they were sold out immediately. Remember?
Cookies tore us a new one.
I still remember. Oh,
Was that the
man.
year of the Xbox One or was that like the year after?
I don't know, man. We always keep talking about the Xbox.
Brant, when
One.
did you get an Xbox One? Did you get one at launch or did it take a while?
It was around launch because I remember what made me switch was that game proprietor that you love so much actually did a deal,
Games.
jeez.
and
You went
at
to
the
Canada
time,
for EB Games?
At the time, I wasn't
I'm glad we're adding more lore to his story.
super attached to my 360 games if I was just going to upgrade.
Yeah.
And the Xbox One didn't have the backwards compatibility that it does now. And they did X amount of trading credit. So I literally traded in a huge stack of games, the same Xbox that I rebought, that 360 Slim model, and couple controllers or whatever it was, and I picked up the Xbox One, the VCR looking one, for I think under $100.
Yeah.
So
those were, I mean, when they did those trade-in deals, like that's how we got that refurb PS2 I talked about a couple weeks ago. Like we paid $40 for that PS2. Yeah. Cesar and I's was I think it's this SKU right here. That entire E3 presentation leaked. So it was Gears Ultimate, backwards compatibility, rare replay was the huge thing. And he and I were hanging out at the time. We're looking at this like tweet that leaked or whatever, and it's like, holy shit, this is coming. All this stuff's coming to Xbox. Is this for real? Master Chief Collection, I think, was in that group, and it was like, oh my god, this is it. We got to get an Xbox now. They convinced us, and that's what it took. It was all that stuff combined, and I was like, man, this is a really great value.
I still remember me and Richard playing Grab by the Ghoulies on Xbox, and then replayed it again on Xbox One, and still have yet to beat it. So.
I've not beat that game, and that's not a bad video game. Yep. It's a very unique video game.
It's pretty good. I think I played it here. I played it here on my Xbox before. I sat there for like a whole Sunday afternoon playing. It's like, it's
not a bad game. So. It's not a system seller. It's not what you paid. Like, they paid a shit ton of money for Rare. That's not what you paid for Rare for.
That was a GameCube game, right?
Wasn't
it a GameCube game?
And then Cameo was like N64 to GameCube to Xbox to 360 launch title. Mm-hmm. Cameo had a long winding history as well. Oh boy, that was a tangent.
I'm sorry, Brandon.
Yeah, that was a fucking tangent.
Your, favorite part of
we may not be able to do many games played. This may be a whole just news episode.
Man, I only have one games played, so
yeah, we can kick that around. I think that works.
We can all talk about our shared experience. Anyway,
Grab by the Ghoulies.
To continue, we're almost at the end here. We have several years later, after the show has wrapped up, we now have a Game of Thrones King's Road game. I think this is featuring several of the TV show actors and everything, coming 2025.
So the missus and I stopped watching Game of Thrones in the second season, and I recognized the main character in this trailer. So I don't know what that means for the whole rest of the series, but that was intriguing. To much surprise of nobody, the rumor was true that The Last of Us 2 is getting a remaster. It's coming to PC. That's been out on PS5 for how long? Maybe a year, maybe 6 months. When did that come out? Do y'all remember? This article, this Eurogame article doesn't mention it, so
I guess it's been about a year.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a year.
But the release is the 3rd of April, 2025.
Soon.
Next up, a new Sonic Team Racing. Cross Worlds.
I have never played.
We got a shadow driving a vehicle.
Yeah, it like revved up, like he's remote starting, and it's just Shadow in his car. I've never played any of these, but I heard they're very good.
I was about to say, where is
the one on PS3? I platinum. It was very, very good. Transform. I played it on Vita.
I was about to say, yeah.
Transformed. Which one had like Panzer Dragoon characters and Shenmue characters? Transformed. That's the one to get.
Yeah,
that's the one you. This is the one specifically. That's the one you need to get. It plays very, very well on Vita.
Get the Vita version specifically.
You can play it on PS3 or either Wii U port, right? Or 360. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Wii U port. But that's the one that has like all the Panzer Dragoon levels and like all these other things. There's so much homage to like Sega across this game. It's pretty dang cool.
basically providing the template for what we want them to do with Mario Kart, right?
Yes. What they should do, right?
Sonic All-Stars
Mafia.
Racing Train. Is that what this one's called? Is it All-Stars Racing? Or are they continuing that? This just says Sonic Team Racing.
Sonic Team Racing Cross Worlds.
Cross Worlds. Okay, we'll see what that is.
Mafia: The Old Country coming summer 2025. I think also that was just a cinematic trailer for that.
That'll look really good to me. It's like almost like the Yakuza game or like a Dragon game. It's like early 1900s. It's before your wartime, like 30s, 40s mafia stories. So more of a Godfather Part 2 with De Niro instead of as a young Don Vito. It looked really good though.
Coming from the former Telltale devs, we have Dispatch. This looks like a cartoon-esque game that kind of just like a Telltale game where you kind of choose the path kind of thing as the story unfolds. It's a game where it's like a superhero agency. It looks kind of humorous and things like that. So next up, another big Konami joint. Cesar dropped off.
He'll come back to us.
We had another big Konami announcement here.
I have this game. I have this Sonic Transformed game. Sorry.
You do?
I have it for PS3. I'm looking for it on eBay and I have it in my collection.
Okami is getting a sequel.
Yay!
And for that sequel, Hideki Kamiya is returning.
Who's he? I don't follow him on Twitter.
Well, you might have followed him, but he might have blocked you.
He might have blocked me or banned me.
Just like everybody else.
That's a huge callback, get back. I don't know what's the term there. It's a huge reacquisition for the Clover's Studios.
Especially, I'm about to say, considering that he just kind of left to go do his own thing.
They just showed some things in the background, but as soon as you heard some of the music and as soon as you saw some of the graphics, like the grass and stuff blooming in the background, you were like, could this be Okami? Is this seriously?
Yeah.
Is this seriously new Okami?
Because this was PS2, Wii era. I mean, it's been a long time. I'm sure he is gonna enjoy returning to this franchise as
the Wii game that went to retail with the IGN watermark published on the front of the cover art.
Yeah. And last but not least, another Naughty Dog announcement.
This is my game of the show.
Their brand new IP, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet World premiere trailer.
Intergalactic Planetary.
It was right there in the name.
God, this looks so fucking good. Everything about this trailer was like, just inject this in my veins.
Blade Runner and
Cowboy Bebop.
Bebop.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
I mean, the whole jacket, right? The whole jacket was from Akira. The whole loading the disc into the jukebox is also from Akira. The whole ship in red was like Akira,
which was a Porsche. You saw the Porsche logo on the back of it. I'm like, get out.
Adidas sneakers, the Sony CD player.
Oh, that Sony sound system, like with the sound levels and stuff. I was like, holy shit! I love everything about this trailer. And answering the TV like a CRT monitor, and then following the phone call throughout from each room. I'm just like, this is so my shit. Some Matrix in there.
Sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I love that type of sci-fi too. So that's why I'm excited about it. So.
And the premise of the game seems to be this character Jordan. What was the last name? Jordan
Munn.
Jordan Munn. Yep, Jordan A. Munn. Who was played by? I didn't recognize the actress. Did you all know who that was?
She's a movie actress. I don't.
Okay.
But I don't remember recently anything she's played in. So.
But the character is a bounty hunter, and they argue with their agent over chasing this particular bounty in this area because no one has gotten off this planet in 600 years. And so you see a discussion back and forth with the agent, and then the contract is accepted, and you see Jordan's name go across there.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought it was Cowboy Bebop. I was like, just say how many Woolongs this is, and then I'll know. I'll just know this is a new Cowboy Bebop game. I've already seen the ship. I already know you're a bounty hunter. I see the CRTs. I'm waiting for you to light up the cigarette with Spike. Let's just go. Let's just make this a Cowboy Bebop thing. And then the audio loads in. You see the Adidas sneakers. It was nonstop. Like the license in this are unlike anything in an Uncharted title, right? Crash Bandicoot didn't have this.
Yeah.
Jack and nothing Naughty Dog has done has this level of like real world application and licensing and stuff. It feels like a real future timeline or something of some sort. And then we got a little bit of cinematic gameplay ish, like
what it could be, right? With the swords,
like
the glowing swords. I mean, we
more
don't
of
know.
like a proof of concept, right?
Yeah, I mean, they all this. I think Neil Druckmann said on Twitter that he's been working on it since 2020.
Yeah,
so it's almost been 4 or 5 years. So hopefully we'll see it come out probably the end of 2025. Hopefully, so.
The soundtrack is Trent Reznor and what's his partner? Atticus. Yeah, Atticus
Rex or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Ross. Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah. Atticus Ross. And I'm just listening to the music and the vibe and the jukebox and putting on the Pet Shop Boys that got mentioned previously in the show.
I mean, it's crazy because Trent Reznor is doing that, and they're also doing the new Tron movie next year too. So,
did they get that instead of Daft Punk?
Well, Daft Punk is broke up, so they're no longer together.
Yeah,
but Trent Reznor and Atticus are also doing the new music for the new Tron next year. So
that Daft Punk soundtrack for that last movie was incredibly good, like out of this world.
Best part of the movie, man. Best part of the movie was that soundtrack.
I've never seen the movie. I've just listened to the score many
Movie's
times.
Movie's good, but the soundtrack's better.
Was that it? Was that the Game Awards? It ends with the Naughty Dog announcement.
Mm-hmm.
that was the Game Awards.
I mean, I love that too. It's like from the studio. It's almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy like splash screen. It's like from the studio that brought you Crash Bandicoot. And I'm like, no fucking way. This looks amazing. Friend of the show, Jeremy, I laid my pitch on today, and he replied with PlayStation only. I was like, yeah, probably. And it was received with a thumbs down thing. And I was like, now it's time to start saving your pennies. This would be the one worth going for.
Saving his time for, I'm sure that PC release will come out a year or so after. So,
yeah. Bleach was also part of the Portal demo, so if they step up their PlayStation Plus offerings in any sort of capacity, suddenly the PlayStation Portal at $200 and game streaming becomes a possibility as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see them do that soonish. I think that's a really good benefit for competing programs. I would like to see something like that available. Outside of, I mean, they want you to get to premium, right? Keep adding that stuff to premium outside of just Jack and Daxter. Put the new Naughty Dog game in there.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of the Game Awards overall? I feel like we like review it as well.
This is probably the best they had in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, this is like he actually met all his promises that he always kind of like.
Well, he's a showman. He has to sell ad space and get viewers there.
I mean, he had a lot of big. I mean, E3 is not what it used to be. That's not even around anymore. So, like, there's actually stuff to share there. That is, it works, right? So, I mean, this was the 10th anniversary. I think they did a very good job. So,
there's still a lot of ads. There's still a lot of celebrities being trotted out there. Do we need to hear Snoop Dogg perform Gin and Juice?
Do we need to turn away Ken Kittaragi for the 14th time?
Yeah.
So,
he didn't even get his Lifetime Achievement Award or anything. But all the announcements we got, it's still a celebration of games. Would you celebrate games differently? Probably. Is this a very, very commercial way to celebrate games and do so successfully?
Probably.
Yes, I think so. And I think he's nailed that niche. And he's relaxed a little bit. Like you had what are the two Muppets that are the hecklers? What are their names again?
The Walter and whatever his name is.
Statler? Is it Statler? Is the second one?
Statler.
Oh,
yeah.
They're giving him.
Look at him just stand there. Look at him just stand there. I was like, that's pretty good.
Let's go back to Jeff. Oh, And I
He's
mean,
just standing there looking at him.
they're
He's like an
heckling him and
idiot.
giving him shit. That whole bit was great. Yes, you could look at it as cheesy or whatever, but he's got clips of the Muppets heckling him from, and it's just good. It was good fun. That was fun for like 3. No, it would be 3 hours.
Nobody.
It was
Nobody just jumped on stage that wasn't supposed to be there.
Was that the Bill?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
the Bill Clinton thing last year?
Yes.
Yes,
I think so.
Bill Clinton was
His
innocent.
esteemed rabbi.
That's right. It was a rabbi thing.
It was a rabbi. Yeah.
We didn't have a Bill Clinton rabbi moment.
And then they had somebody run up on, it wasn't the Game Award, but they had somebody run up on stage about show us GTA 6.
Ugh.
Give us GTA 6.
And some of the awards were like most anticipated game. They put all these games up there, and GTA 6 is one of them. And I'm like, this is the most ridiculous question you're ever going to throw out there.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to be that. I think a surprise was your Game of the Year winner, which was Astrobot from Team Asobi.
Yeah.
In an era of...
Asobi won a lot.
They
Team
did.
Asobi won a lot.
So did Helldivers, a $40 full-fledged project, which I don't think it was in the news, apparently. But it got basically an expansion as an update.
Mhm.
It skipped over that part, right? There was a whole
It did.
Helldivers bit.
Yeah. Yep.
They had John Helldiver out there doing the salute, and
Yeah, they actually had the
That was
dude
so
out there
good.
Yeah.
in the full Helldivers garb.
And the cool thing, available now. You know?
Available now as an update. Like back in the 10, 15 years ago, this was a full expansion. This was a full $40 SKU or whatever that you had to pay, or you would have bought a sequel. We're going to be in an urban environment. We're going to fight those Illuminate, I think is what the names of them are. And there's like these big, Russell called them War of the Worlds. There's like these big War of the Worlds things. And then Cesar sent us a video with what is most definitely or best described as a warthog.
We got to do a warthog run.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Where one character just flew out and everybody else in the Warhog just blew up and exploded. As it does the same old Halo Warhog twisting and turning as it explodes.
Helldivers continues to be great. I think they got best multiplayer.
Yeah.
So Space Marine 2 was up for best multiplayer, and I can't understand what could be in there besides the co-op. Like, how did Space Marine 2 get included in that? I want to know. Like, I'm very curious what that game consists of now. We got to play some Helldivers soon. I'm very excited to try this update out. So, that's the news. Is that what we're gonna end with that?
Yes.
We're
That's-
gonna go.
yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
it,
go
man.
on to games played, and everyone has played Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb for the original Microsoft Xbox,
Yes.
featuring not Harrison Ford as the voice actor of
It's
Indiana
a weird
Jones.
one. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Jerk or something.
Oh
like that.
no! Episode title.
No.
Speaking of Circle Jerk, they got Harrison Ford out there.
Yeah.
He was actually a surprise visitor with
Yeah.
the world's shortest game developer, Todd Howard. Poor Todd Howard, man. I didn't know he was that small.
He's a tiny little man.
Brand in the chat was like, is he really like miniature Todd Howard? They just trotted him out there like
Yeah.
that. And then as soon as you sent that, he's holding whatever the award is, or he's ready to present it. And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
turns around and looks at somebody like that. He's facing upwards at whoever he was looking at. And I was like, Brant wasn't wrong. Todd Howard is a tiny man.
Hey, that was
Miniature
like that was
Tom
like
Howard.
best of the show, right? I mean, they won some awards for Fallout,
Yeah.
the best adaptation.
It was. Bethesda's
You
firing
know,
on all
Indiana
cylinders.
Jones is like, yeah, they're finally hitting right now,
Mhm.
right? So
So we've all played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yep.
I feel like when we all play something, since I usually go first on games played, I'm the lead on that. But I would love someone else to do that, and then I'll fill in some gaps.
I don't know how far everybody's got. I'm assuming they got further than me. I probably a couple of hours in there. So
I'm in the Vatican. I've also done a couple hours.
So essentially, you kind of start out as Indiana. It does this whole sequence where you kind of recreate Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Which was
I won't go too
awesome.
Yep.
go into much
Super
detail about
fucking
it because I
cool.
think that's something that people need to just go through, and that's like their tutorial, right? The tutorial for the game and how it's going to play a little bit.
Did everybody go to the waterfall? Did you go around the lake to the edge of the waterfall?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a tree back there near where one of the treasures is. There's like a treasure back there. So I jumped. I tried to jump from one side to the. I've got a clip of this, but not me actually jumping. I tried to jump from one side of the tree to the other, and I could never move. So I jumped behind the tree towards the treasure, and then I can't move around. And I'm like, what's happening? And I'm looking around with the camera. And I look down, and Indy's feet are just kicking like nonstop. They're going like this, like I'm in midair, but I feel like I'm on the ground. And it was a bug. I had to quit and reload last checkpoint to.
You were stuck.
Yeah, he was never gonna get out of there. There's nothing I could do.
Game's pretty good about that.
Thinking inside the box says it's Wolfenstein without guns, basically. Yes, that is the most.
That is a perfect description of that game. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also I'll let Cesar continue. There's another heavy influence that I can't shake. It feels like I'm playing a new version of this.
I mean, no, go ahead.
Thief. Did anybody play like Thief 1 and 2, the old Looking Glass games on PC?
Actually, now you mentioned it, yeah, with some of the abilities to steal stuff, like, oh, you might get in trouble if you steal this or going into restricted areas. That I can see that, yeah.
And just very stealthy and like being in the shadows and there's parts where you can creep up on guards and they won't see you until they do. And it's like, huh? Like a Metal Gear thing where a meter fills up before they're actually fully alerted and you can just, you can retreat. You can back up and get away from there. Or you throw a wine bottle past them and they hear the bottle exploding past them and they start looking at it's just it's a stealth game that I had not quite imagined.
And that is one of the best things about it, being able to go through and stealth your way through it and find, because there's stuff everywhere and you can pick up a broom, a freaking fly swatter, a shovel. You could even if you picked up a rifle, you can flip the rifle around and use the butt of the rifle. And there's like a little kind of like little circles down in the bottom right hand corner that kind of tell you the durability of whatever you have.
I haven't noticed that.
Sneak up.
That's good.
You can sneak up behind, because there's some stuff you use it once and it breaks, or you can at least get
like one of the clubs. The fascists keep dropping the clubs.
Yeah, you can get like two or three different uses out of it. And you can sneak up behind somebody and get up behind them and hit them in the head and knock them out, and then you can move their body, that way they don't get discovered. If you do get discovered,
Splinter Cell thing.
You might have people running after you, like what you said. They have those billy clubs. You can use the whip to like make them drop whatever they're coming after you with, and it's a damn good game.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I talked to Renee. Renee thought it was too. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be Renee's cup of tea, but he told me he enjoyed every minute he's played out of it. So
it's like a great Indiana Jones movie, like the best one we've had since Last Crusade so far.
Essentially, I think it takes place, a year after Raiders. He's still going through some issues with how he ended things with Miriam. He ends up going to, for whatever reason, to Italy and the Vatican, which is in the timeline where Mussolini was taking over the whole country. Looks like he has infiltrated the Vatican. And that's pretty much where I've gotten to.
Where I'm at too.
But it's like Richard has said, or as Thinking Inside the Box has also said, it is very much like Wolfenstein. It's a first-person view. A lot of reliance on your fists. You don't get guns until later.
I have a revolver. I have never used it. I have yet to use it.
Probably won't use it.
It doesn't seem like it's helpful at all.
Right. And you do get melee weapons throughout the thing. There's multiple ways to complete objectives. So you have to go from point A to point B. It could be either through the roof terraces. You get keys from different guards and unlock stations. I mean, there's different ways of completing your tasks. It does a pretty good job about that.
They're huge playgrounds, and you'll accomplish something, and you'll kind of move the map forward. Like it's open, but it's linear, right? Like you're still trying to get to. They'll say get to the library, so you'll have to get to that point, and
Richard brings up a good point. When you do find maps in the game, the map will point you to where you need to go to, right? But there's many different ways to get to that location. But
you'll take out a guard, you'll take out a series of guards, and you've cleared this area, and then you find a staircase, and as you backtrack across the staircase, you find out like, hey, maybe earlier in the level I could have jumped over these two things and then just gone straight up here and not even gone over the main level of the level and even had to take out the guards or anything. Like I could have snuck over this top part here and ended up maybe 15, 20 minutes faster than where I was before. Speedrunning this game might end up being an interesting thing.
Yeah. And I think the one thing I've ran into in here was like the autosave feature has been interesting for me because I got to a bit where I did not realize that I was in a tent that was a restricted area, and
Same.
Autosaved.
Yeah.
And then every time it launched back when I died because I got beat, I got my ass kicked. Everybody and their mom was chasing me, so I had like run into another area.
Did you steal some coins?
Yes. No, I was in a restricted tent. I didn't steal anything at all. It's just like you're not supposed to be here. Like they knew my disguise. I was disguised as a priest.
Yes.
For the story, because of Father Antonio, because you were trying to indulge in the story that way. I was in a restricted tent where apparently captains can recognize you're hiding in disguise. So
Yes.
I was stuck in a loop constantly where they would kill me.
Oh no!
Reappear in that tent where they knew where I was there. So I had to go into the part where I had to run all the way back to Antonio's office to reload the save feature to save somewhere else, and then die at that point, and then it would actually finally clear off. So that was one of the things that drove me insane because it's like it would not.
It needs a manual save feature.
Yeah, it does.
It would not give you a clean slate if you done the auto save feature.
So I'm in this main area of the Vatican that you are, right? And there's coins on the table. And
I've seen that. Yes,
I picked up the coins.
I stole the coins when nobody was looking, and I was good.
But I thought I was good too. And then they're like, "Hey, what were you doing in there?" And then all of a sudden, these exclamation points pop off, and all these people are following me. So I ran. You can't fight. They really do a good job at framing this as this is just an archaeologist. Like, you're not going to win if they gang up on you, you're not going to win these fights. You're going to lose these things.
I mean, they send you like 45 people after you, man.
They do.
I thought I was going to win. I was in the stairs on that corner, and I couldn't open the door because I was under suspicion. And they said I beat 2 of them down. I was like, I'm good, and it's nonstop.
They kept coming.
I was like, they kept coming. I was like, fuck.
So in this area, they're after me, right? And I'm just running, and I find a place where I can whip up to, and then I climb up on that platform, and then I can whip up there again, and then I'm like way above the level, right? So I creep around on some scaffolding. I'm like, they're looking for me. I hear them taunting me. I see the red shit everywhere. And I look down, and almost like Metal Gear Solid where the meter goes down, they give up. But they've everyone on this level has converged in this one scaffolding.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, boys, nothing to see here. Let's all get out of here. So there's like 19 people leaving this one area, like walking slowly away from it. Like they were on this like mob, and all of a sudden they didn't get their target. So they're just dejected, and they're all walking away from this one area where they last saw me. And that's when I was like, man, this is so much like Thief.
Yeah.
Or Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed, you would run out to that thing and like jump into the hay, and then they never could find you. And it's like, fuck, we followed it all the way to this bale of hay, and now we got nothing.
So I don't really have much to add in this game. I'll kick it back to you guys. The only thing I will add is that I've played it on 3 different devices. I played it on my Asus ROG natively, played it on my PC, and I played it on my Xbox Series X. And it is an Xbox Anywhere game.
Yep.
So it picks up anywhere I was at. So I was able to play it my set deployment with my Asus ROG, which it ran decently well in medium settings. It was about 40 frames per second.
PC
not the
native.
Best. PC's native. Yep. And I did my PC, I think it was 120 frames per second on my PC.
Damn.
And I was able to use my second screen to watch the football game. That's why I originally had done it way. And then I've done the Series X in between. It does a very good job. I don't own a copy in Steam, but apparently Steam also utilizes this Xbox Save Anywhere that it pulls your saves from the cloud. So there's many ways that you could continue your gameplay on there, which is a feature I do enjoy that Xbox has done. And thinking inside the boxes, man, noted that Troy Barker knocked out of the park. Yeah, he's very
incredible.
much so. Sounds like a
There's
It's
that is one
Valley
thing. Troy
material.
Yeah, Troy Baker did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And there's very few parts in there where he'll say something and you're like, yeah, that's definitely not Harrison Ford. But the majority of the time where you're watching and just listening to everything unfold, it's just like, wow, you can't even tell.
I think
it's so spot on.
I think those uncanny valley moments stand out when you're looking at the character and you're like, that's not Harrison Ford saying that. When it's in first person, I can't tell. Like when Cesar mentioned being dressed up as the priest, and as you're walking around, people are like, hello, Father. And he's like, hello, my son. go in the name of God.
Peace be with you.
He's like making these comments, and it's in first person, so you can't see lips moving and stuff. And I'm like, it definitely feels like Harrison Ford.
Whoever they got the voice, Marcus Brody, was also genius too.
So as a longtime Indiana Jones fan, when Marcus Brody became like one of the first big characters you would see, I teared up. That was a huge. Denholm Elliott, the actor that played Marcus Brody, died in like 91, 92 of AIDS.
Way back, right?
Long time ago. So like being able to have another adventure with Marcus Brody, like fully rendered and the same quips and humor, and he's asleep when you meet him. He's passed out.
He calls him lightweight. Remember, lightweight. He kept trying to drink the
he's
the
a lightweight. It just like there's no other medium that delivers that to us currently, and to have that experience is just it's fully an Indiana Jones experience. I'm gonna hand it over to Brant, but I'm gonna piggyback off of Cesar's. I played my first like 2.5 hours on Xbox Series X native. And then I've recently been tinkering with the ROG Ally. I was like, let me fire up the cloud streaming. And everything was right there. It was like quick resume on my Xbox that I just fired it up and there it was. And I hit resume and it loaded because I restarted from where I alerted those people and stole the coins and stuff. And so you kind of like resume with a third person view, and Indy puts his hat on, or you see his whip or the disguise he has on, and then you carry about the level after that. But it played pretty flawlessly on my home Wi-Fi. It was pretty nice.
I've also played just natively on the console, and I booted up once via the cloud streaming.
How did that go?
Just on a phone, on my phone, and with a controller, and it just worked.
Damn,
it just worked.
They're getting there, man. We I feel like we've been beta testing this for like 5 or 6 years, but they're really getting there.
So far it sounds like I may be the farthest.
Are you out of the Vatican?
Yes,
you definitely are farther than us. Then I talked to Father Alberto. I gave him the record. And I went into the catacombs. I went into the library, then I went into the catacombs, and then I'm kind of in the in between there.
Yeah, you got a lot of looking around
in the Vatican
things to do.
Yeah, I'm outside of that. I think I have to take pictures of the inscriptions.
That's where I'm at. I'm on the photographs. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, y'all are still very early at the Vatican thing.
So we're gonna be in the Vatican for a minute, huh?
For a minute. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun because, like you said, learning all the ins and outs. Because that's the first thing I do.
Paths.
I start going through those tents and looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up the money. There's also like little boxes that you can find. They're tiny little boxes, usually on a desk or something, and they may have a lock on them. And you can pick up a blunt object, a club, a candlestick, a shovel, whatever, and you can hit it and break it open, and there's usually more money in there too, so be on the lookout for those.
I don't know if I've encountered those yet.
Oh, you'll find some.
Okay.
Because the first time I saw it, I just instinctually I saw it's like a little red box, and I saw the little padlock on it. I'm like, I bet I can break that. Just gamer brain. And I picked up something and smashed it, and sure enough, it opened up. I'm like, hey, look,
gamer brain.
Gamer brain.
Looks like you had a funny glitch with some monks. What was happening there?
So I've had a few interesting glitches.
There's some bugs in here, not game breaking, but just like entertaining.
No, but there's some
mine broke.
Yeah, funny bugs.
Yeah.
One of them, I was actually in the Vatican. I was trying to do a puzzle, and y'all are farther away from this. This is just kind of like a little side piece. You'll find like this little, almost looks like a little diorama of a building, and you mess with it, and like panels are open up on either side of it while you're messing with it. And so like you literally you have to mess with it. A panel opens on one side. You go over and grab something out of there, and then you're supposed to mess with it again and make another panel open on the other side, and insert what you got out of there, out of the left side into the right side. So, of course, I get it out of the left side.
Right.
I look down on the ground. I'm just like, okay, let me drop this right here. I start fiddling with it, get the right side open. I look back down. The thing is gone.
It just vanished?
I'm like, what
from
the hell?
floor?
I back up. I'm looking everywhere. I squat down. I'm like, it just disappeared. I had to reload the save and go back in.
But the autosaves seem pretty regular, so you're never out more than 10, 15 seconds, it feels like.
I did the same thing as y'all. Like, I didn't realize, because it's one of those things where it'll pop up in the corner while you're kind of learning the game. It's like, hey, there's certain people that, you know, will be able to see through your disguises. You know, captains, you know, in this portion, it was like captains will be able to realize you're, you know, not a priest. And
yeah, I was watching a little cutscene, like there was a nun in the wall, almost like the two guys that you sent that picture of. I should have taken a clip of that. But I was watching this conversation carry out, and then all of a sudden one of them yelled at me like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then they're all of a sudden attacking me. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? So I didn't even know. I didn't even know this bit until you guys told me.
Yeah,
because I still never figured it out. Like, why did you guys start attacking me? I'm just sitting there chilling, listening to this cutscene.
I walked out of the courtyard, or I walked into that courtyard where there's those tents and everything, and then I stole some things out of the tent, and I walked out, and then all of a sudden there's just a guy right there. And immediately that circle starts filling up. He goes, "Hey, huh?" And he starts looking at you, and they get a little alert circle over their head. And as soon as it went off, freaking the whole courtyard, I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm backing up, and just like y'all said, you take out a couple of them, which you do a lot of bare knuckle fighting.
Because that stamina is going to run out fast.
Each trigger you have left and right is your fisticuffs. You can block. You can also use A to dodge attacks. But like Richard says, there's some stamina, and every punch you throw uses stamina. If you run, it uses stamina.
If you whip, uses stamina.
Yes. And what was crazy in mine is I'm trying to run away. I'm trying to like back away and beat a couple of them up, and then run back a little bit more, beat a couple more up, run back. And that worked like a
wave management part to that stamina.
Okay. It worked okay, and I was able to get into a building and start going up the stairs, and they had just about given up. I was like, okay, I think I'm good. I'm going to try to like go back around. And one of them was like an actual soldier. And as soon as I walked back down the stairs, he's, "Hey," and he pulled out a gun and shot me.
Oh,
and I died right there in the stairs. So one thing, if you haven't encountered it yet, is, unless it's in a situation like that, where you're gunned down, if you're in a regular like fist fight,
okay,
you will actually get knocked down, and you'll wind up on the ground, kind of Left 4 Dead style, where you can kind of, well, in Left 4 Dead you couldn't crawl, but in this one you can crawl.
I don't think I've had that happen yet. I'm thinking they just straight murder me when they knock me down.
And you look for your hat. If you get to your hat in time, Indy will pick up his hat, put it back on, and get back up, back in the fight.
You
get a second chance.
That's helpful. Thank you for that tidbit.
Be on the lookout for like different books and things, and I don't mean just stuff for your notes and to do with the adventure.
Yeah.
You don't have a skill tree in this game. You have you find these different books. So you might find a book on like Moxie or the art of medicine, or whatever, and it might improve. Now you get little points. You get action points, and you can spend those action points on these different books.
Okay.
And it might improve your stamina, or now bandages heal more health, or things like that.
I haven't found one of those yet. I'm just getting like the notebook content.
You should be able to find a few in the Vatican.
Okay.
Because they're around, and you just have to like be vigilant and look for them, because there's stuff everywhere in this game, like little notes, letters, cards, all sorts of like little collectibles that you can find.
I mean, the environments are super detailed. Like there's stuff everywhere. It's a Indiana Jones simulator. You're walking through looking at everything.
And as far as this game goes, it's like playing a freaking Indiana Jones movie. It really is. I mean, the writing, the humor, the action, it just works so well.
It really does.
The part I got to is, Indy's there tracking down a certain item. That item gets, you finally track it down, figure out where it's going, and of course, are not able to get it back before it gets moved somewhere else.
A museum?
Not to the museum.
It doesn't belong in a museum?
But then you have to go to this new location. So that's where I'm at. I'm already at the second location.
It's driving the story forward.
Yes. And there may or may not be Nazis involved, as always, in this Indiana Jones.
And Machine Games makes a great Nazi killing simulator. Ain't nothing like
it's always
on some Nazis.
It's always a good time when you punch them in the face.
Guaranteed.
So
100%.
Because when you get to Italy, he just calls them fascists. And then as it keeps going, and then you see some German soldiers, and it's there's some more characters you guys haven't met that kind of is like a companion character that starts following you around in certain parts.
Is it Short Round?
No.
Okay.
You will not have to cover your heart. But I just want to say they finally did it, man. It's great that they finally made an Indiana Jones game in the style of an Uncharted game.
I think a friend of the show, Russell's a big fan too. I don't have many of his notes in front of me, but I think he's got a couple more hours than Cesar and I. I think
I logged in. He's been like 10 or 15 hours into that game.
Yeah, he's been playing it. He's been plugging away.
Every time I can sit down and play like an hour and a half, I do. It's got me hooked. It is so good.
It's all I've played
the puzzles,
last week when I've had a chance.
Puzzles are not too bad.
I don't know if I've gotten a puzzle.
If you're in the catacombs, you should be at a puzzle. If you were going to those catacombs, you should have.
Maybe it was just straightforward. I did whatever it was and moved on.
Maybe it hasn't gotten difficult yet.
Could be that.
Yeah, so far there haven't been any like really difficult puzzles.
That's an interesting note, because when you set up the difficulty, you can set up combat difficulty and puzzle difficulty. You can make it as easy a ride or complicated or head scratching or however you want to do. There's a lot of customization in the options in the game.
Yeah, there's like 4 different options for combat, and I think a couple different options for the puzzle difficulty.
Yep.
So, because you can either do the challenging stuff, or you want just kind of like more laid back with the puzzles, and then the combat wise, it's like, well, no, I just want to enjoy the story. No, I want a little bit of combat. No, I want the regular combat, or no, I want hard or extra hard or whatever it was. And
actually, I think I kept both on normal this time. I think I have normal on both.
Yeah, I kept it middle of the road on combat, and I chose just regular
and I'll see what
regular puzzles.
I'll see what that ends up looking like and adjust accordingly from there. It's great. If you have Game Pass, please download or find a way to stream.
This has made Game Pass worth it for me, honestly.
Yeah,
just this game alone, for sure.
Would you? I'll say one potential negative that I've encountered. Would you enjoy this much if you don't think you had the Indiana Jones lore and interest in all those years of enjoying that franchise that you did? Is Marcus Brody asleep on the couch as funny to you?
I think you could get something out of this game. You could enjoy the adventure aspect and the combat and everything else. Yeah. It's a good game. It really is. It's a solid game. But knowing the backstory, the lore, you get more out of it. It
just adds to it. Yeah, I think you're right overall.
Yeah. And like you said, I've gotten some funny glitches. There's one cutscene, and during the cutscene, I could just see a rosary like floating in the air and doing this, kind of like bouncing around.
Hey.
And then when I went out of the cutscene, I turned around and looked, and there is a nun just sitting there on the bench. She's doing this. The rosary is floating all around in front of her face, and then it teleports down to her hands, and then it just kind of floats in her hands. And then goes down and goes back up. I've got a clip of that. There's
the Lord at work. through your Xbox.
It's a miracle.
It's the Holy Spirit.
Before the show, I sent y'all one that I forgot to send earlier this week, where I found a plunger. I'm like, oh, plunger! I'll carry this around for a bit, and this should be hilarious. And I come out of this one area and turn, and there's not just one priest, but he's like been duplicated, and he's stuck almost together. And he's facing the wall, kind of almost in the wall, like bumping into it.
Oh, that's just Saint Siamese. There's a character in the game.
Oh my gosh. For shame. So I was gonna be there trying to plunge him out of the wall and get him unstuck.
Probably turn around and attack you with his 4 fists. 3 fists? 2 fists? How many fists would the dual friars have?
There was another instance. I took a clip just because it was hilarious. I went into a restricted area and was looking around, and the soldiers are in there. There's some playing cards, and it happened so quickly I didn't have time to think. But literally, like, I'm looking for whatever I'm looking for, and they're standing there. They're sitting there on the other side, yelling at me, like, "Hey, what are you doing in here?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't worry, just let him go do his job. Okay, while you're and they're saying, okay, while you're over there, grab me a drink. And then immediately, because I didn't, because I'm still looking around for whatever I'm looking for, and then they're like, "Hey, I told you to bring me a drink. Get over here." And immediately I turn around, and they've already been alerted, and they're already running around to my side of the tent. I'm like, "What the hell, man? I didn't even have a chance to react."
Damn, they got on you fast.
I ran and escaped, and then I snuck back in, and am looking around one of the tents I didn't get in just to make sure I've gotten everything in there. And I found a note. I picked the note up. But then I find some more money, and as soon as I go to hit the button, I see that it says like "steal" in red, and I'm like, "Uh-oh!" And I had already hit it, and as soon as I hit it, it alerted everybody again.
Yep, that's exactly what I did.
I'm trying to run out of there, and I turn around, and some guy just like appears right in my face there, and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
They'll get on you. You steal something.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's really fun, really solid game. The story so far has been just amazing.
They've done a great job.
Hopefully within the next week or so I can buckle down and finish it up. I don't know how long of a game it is.
Nah, just enjoy it. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. I do wish I was enjoying this with DualSense adaptations as well.
You have to wait 6 months.
I like that extra bit. I like that extra bit in the DualSense stuff. Is that it for us?
I will leave it him for next week. I've been playing a lot of Legacy Kane Soul Reaver.
Oh, been playing a lot of Soul Reaver. Did you get the remaster collection?
I did.
What are you playing that on?
I'll talk about it next week. PS5.
Okay. I'm debating between PC and PS5 on that one.
I've
always wanted to play this.
A very, very, very good version of that game. Aspire continues to do very good work on bringing back old games. So I don't think you'll do anything wrong with what version you got.
Okay.
So.
Even the Switch version plays amazing.
I even played it with the Japanese VAs, which I thought did a pretty good job. So, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Brent?
We got to go play Astrobot. Our favorite green mascot is apparently one of the new bots.
Oh, there's an update?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a winter update, like a Christmas one.
Master Chief?
Green Goblin?
Green mascot. Oh, God. Oh, God. Of course, it's Croc and the Legend of the Go-Go's.
It's Croc. It's Croc. Hey, Croc got delayed. I didn't put it in the show, but
it got pushed back till next year.
Yeah, it needed more time in the oven.
That's fine, because I think, Brant, you already sent photos that you bought 2 versions of that game. I still got to buy mine. I think the cutoff date for those physical copies, they pushed it back to the 27th. So thought I missed it, but I got 2 weeks now from today. I need to go ahead.
I might jump. I don't like pre-ordering from this company. I might actually jump and join with you guys.
Well, this is not a limited run. This is a new company. So
Who is this?
Yeah, it's a different company.
brand. This is their first game.
I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm definitely in.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in on this. Y'all send me a link. I'll jump.
$200
I'm
Legend
not
of the
getting that
Gobos.
one.
No, you got the limited edition. I bought the standard.
I'm not
I'm
getting that
poor
one.
39. Edition. So
I bought the special edition. I bought a Gobo plush. I bought a standard edition as well.
Oh, Brant.
I'm supporting the hell out of Croc, man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's get
is that it for you
Croc
guys? Croc update.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.